What it do, 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 what it do. It's your player partner Ziggy2x. Back at it again. New video, new day. Same old bullshit. You already know. Nothing new, nothing new, nothing new. Just a little something slight. You know, a little something slight. I just fucked up a honey bun so bad. Oh my god. Tore that motherfucker out the frame. Not even gonna lie to you. What we got, what we got, what we got, what we got? What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome to the stream. Player partners unite. Coffee and Blunts morning show. It's a good mix right there. Good mix right there. Anyways, what's going on, y'all, man? It's same old day, same old stream, man. You already know what's going on, man. I apologize for the wait, but I was watching a video that had absolutely nothing to do with content. Young dude named LV Outcast. He had a little track on old Outcast beat. Shit was fire. Giving it a listen, and I liked it. I liked what I heard. But anywho, back at it again, man. Brand new day, man. We got a little mixed media today, mostly dating stuff. I ain't even gonna flex you, man. We got some about $600 checks Trump is trying to cut for everybody in America. Twitch did something weird. TikTokers getting sent to jail left and right. My mouth just did that little venom thing, the under the tongue spit. We got some about niggas out here in Atlanta wearing skirts and shit. I don't know what that's about, man. I ain't seen that personally, but you know, hey, if that's what they say going on, then I guess that might be what's going on. I don't really know. Doesn't make sense to me. But whatever. Check my yeah, we all good. We all good. We all in the bit. I don't know what's going on. Why am I only one deep? But hey, whatever. I don't care. What else we got? Kendra G spazzing out. That was gonna be part of the that was definitely gonna be the title, but I just noticed I do a lot of Kendra G's crashing out, but then it doesn't really ever get explained. So gonna leave that for where it's at, and you know, do my thing on everything else, man. All right, there we go, man. We in the game. Let's go on and get to it, man. We ain't playing around with these folks. Oh, it's a commercial. Fuck. Just kidding. Okay. O'Shea
I was
Duke
on a show
Jackson.
last night.
Let's go.
It was a dating show, and everybody was calling me delusional for what I was asking for.
Just because a woman is a single mom, it doesn't mean that she doesn't want to be loved. Despite having one or multiple kids by maybe even multiple men, it doesn't mean that she doesn't want to be in a committed relationship. Now, the rule of thumb on the dating market, especially for men deciding to date single moms or not, is typically the more kids she has by multiple men, it's probably going to be a man takes that in consideration.
Right.
Especially if you've never been married, but you have 2 or 3 kids by multiple men. It's not a deal breaker for all men, but for many men, it is concerning because you're still left with those kids, and now the man has to make a conscious decision if he wants to take care of somebody else's situation. And this didn't stop this Latina, which her name is Rosie. She came on the Kendra G show looking for love. Let's find out who she is.
Do you have any kids?
I do. I have 3.
How old are your
18, 16, and 11.
Ooh.
18, 16, and 11. All by the same man?
Dang.
Two fathers. My
God.
oldest are from one, and my youngest is from another one.
Now, we found out that she has 3 kids. One is 18 and 16 by one father. Another is 11 by another father.
Co-producer is gonna give you unique sounds that actually fits your track in seconds. Let me show you. First, let it listen.
Fuck out of here.
So far, so good, okay? But the next part is interesting.
What does the provider and his role in the relationship mean to you?
To me, a provider is someone who can maintain his household.
A
I
provider
don't want to
is someone who
work.
can
I
maintain a
want to
household. I don't want to
go into
work.
my career, which is art.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the f you think you is?
Her
So
career is
I
art.
don't want to have to work. And, you know, I just feel like
What?
if I'm with somebody, I don't need to work.
Okay.
That's just me.
Wait a minute. So
Okay.
this lady is saying a provider basically should come in, take care of her kids, and the
just said
reason
off the
why
rip,
is
you better
because
be
she
providing
doesn't want
off the-
to
off
work.
the
She
rip.
wants to go and focus on her career and art, whatever that means. And a man is supposed to come in and just take care of that whole situation.
The whole
So Kendra
thing.
G is listening to this.
Him.
And of course, you know, Kendra G is way more sensitive to women than she is of men. So Kendra G reiterates her desire. Kendra G makes sure that she's on point.
So you want a new man to come into your life. You live with him. He pays all the bills because you don't want to work, and he'll take care of you and your 2 kids you have by 2 different men.
Yeah.
So Kendra said, look, so you want a man to come in and take care of your kids and your family, and you
Right.
don't work. The lady says,
Yeah.
yep. Oh boy.
Hell no, to the no.
Now, if you really
Fucking right.
notice, Kendra G didn't really offer much of a pushback, at least in this instance. Now, she did say, hey, you know, you do want to use a man and live off him for free, but it wasn't brutal. Now, had it been a man asking for this or something similar, Kendra G would have lost her damn mind. But it's okay. We know that Kendra got to make sure that her fan base is still paying, right? But then Kendra G asks her a very interesting question.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say that your request, they'll use the word delusional.
It's not delusional. You know, there's certain points in your life where you grow. I'm a very
It's not
God-fearing woman,
delusional.
and I want to
Why would you
live
say
the way
it's
the Bible
delusional? It's
does.
your choice.
You know, grow into that.
You the goofy one coming up with
It's
these
not
ideas.
delusional. What I'm looking for is not fake. I know it is very possible.
Yeah, you the goofy
So
that's coming up with these
again,
ideas. So
this is a
of course you
woman
ain't gonna think it's
that's never been married. We're gonna find that out. And she's like, well, look, what do you say to the people that, you know, have an issue with what you're talking about? And she was like, look, I think it's possible. And technically, she's not wrong. Anything is possible. It doesn't mean that it's highly probable. And the reason why we know that it cannot be highly probable is because you're in a pretty big city. You're in Orlando, Florida, and you're in your 30s,
okay.
and you haven't found anybody else
Talk to
that
him.
is interested in your offer. So now you're on Kendra G show looking for something like this. So it's
Right.
not impossible, and it's just probably not likely.
Got him.
But then Kendra asks her a pretty good question again.
Did he make a certain amount of money?
Yes, he has to be able to maintain me and my family, I guess.
So what is that dollar amount he has to make?
Me
I like
and my
150.
family. 150.
Because he has to be able to maintain himself
150.
and everyone and the home.
Have you ever dated a man that made 150K?
I did not.
So she
50.
asks, how much should a man make? She said $150,000 a year. She asks her again, have you ever dated a man who
50.
made $150,000 a year? She has never met a man who has done this. Let me talk about this. Women who have the history of dating men who
150.
don't have a lot of money and then wanting to just jump up and date men who have a lot of money. Forget one thing, value. You see, value is something that must be exchanged, kind of like energy. If you've been dealing with guys who don't have very much, and you have kids by men who don't have very much, and now you're designing a man who is better than those kids, well, the thing is, for him to come down and, you know, deal with you because you've been dealing with, you know, a lower level of man, you're only discussing what you want. Now, it could be this lady has joined church and she's been, saved, quote unquote. But what she's not realizing is you're not giving a man an incentive to do that. And this is what a lot of people have a problem with, not only women, but people in general. People who want to be around rich people, people who have a lot of money, people who have a lot of success. And let's say you don't have it, all right? You're used to not dealing with people who have money or success. Well, what typically happens is those people typically just want stuff from those rich people for nothing. And it's not uncommon that those people are quickly removed from the equation because you're not bringing anything, you're not bringing any solutions, you're not doing anything for that person. This woman here hasn't understood that. A man that is making $150,000 a year, you don't even know what that man is like. You've never even been in a room with a man like that. You have never even understood a man like that. And secondarily, you forget one thing. A man that has $150,000 a year
or subscribe.
Got a lot of options.
He's right.
Trying to help.
He can deal with a lot of different situations, but you don't know that because you've been dealing with underachievers all of your life. But you want this guy to basically give up all of his options. And I'm sure that because you're a Christian, you want that man to, one, be faithful to you, take care of your kids by somebody else, pay for your house. And at the same time, he should forego all of his other opportunities that he has. Now, the reason why he is making $150,000 a year is because that man has sacrificed probably for a good portion of his life,
right,
so that he could select a mate that was worth something. Quite frankly, dear, in order for a man to have you in your current situation, it wouldn't require him to be anybody successful. It's like, why would a man work so hard to come and deal with this exact situation? It wouldn't make any sense. It would have been better for him to not even be successful at all and then have a shot with whatever you're trying to offer him, which is not very much. But often people don't realize this. They look at what they can get, like the wham disease, the what about me? And you're only concerned about what you're getting, but you're never concerned about what somebody else is getting. And then you see people like this consistently stay poor, consistently never developing, consistently never getting opportunities, whether the business or personal, because every time, you deal with somebody like this, it's always about them. And it's never about adding value to somebody else. And so those people, male or female, never grow. But then...
Yeah, I'm an AI, but I'm here to talk apps. Real apps you can build in minutes with Base 44. This finance app solves your business headaches, tracking invoices, managing clients, keeping...
There's more.
They're going to say this, and I'm just going to let you respond because I understand you are a God-fearing woman. You've never been married, right?
No.
What would you say to the people that would say that you have 3 kids without being married?
Thou shalt not judge, and your past does not determine your future.
Now, basically, Kendra G asks her here. So what do you say to the people that said, look, you have 3 kids, you've never been married, and you've never experienced a successful guy? She says, thou shalt not judge, and some kind of biblical reference she's making there. But the question is this: you're judging all men who make below $150,000 a year, right? See, on one end, you don't want people to judge your situation, like men who make over $150,000 a year. But the reality is, we always judge people's situation altogether. All right, a man that has money and is doing very well, he just can't have anybody in his life. He has to make sure of people who don't add anything. And if somebody doesn't add anything, you have to make a conscious decision to get that person away from you, okay? Because that person is taking up resources, that person's taking up time, that person's not worth the money. So if that person is not worth the money, then we have to get rid of that individual, okay? That individual has to go. It has to go now. That's the case. And that is a situation that we're dealing with when we come to this particular lady. But at the same time, you don't want somebody to judge your situation. But every man that doesn't qualify for what you want, you will judge them because they don't qualify. So then, it's very duplicitous on your part. And again, I understand we all want what we want, but you don't want anybody to judge you. but you are out here judging everybody else. Fast forward. After the show, this lady was heavily criticized. And so she decided to basically speak out about the situation on her Instagram.
Oh, I was delusional for asking for that. Because and then Kendra told me, but you've never had that before. I'm like, you're absolutely right. My past don't determine my future. And I will not let another man deplete me at all. If you're not here to provide for me, guess what? Stay out of my messages. Period.
So basically she was like, look, you know, if you don't want to do what I'm asking, stay out of my messages. She will never let another man deplete her. And I get it, because yes, we can have people in our life that can deplete us for many, many reasons. The real situation is this: did they deplete you, or were you not developing yourself? And so that's what you were around. That's what happens when you don't have very much to offer the world. You're around people who don't have very much to offer the world. And then you get in a situation where, you know, you want 3 kids and you have, you know, dreams and all of that. And so now you're looking for somebody to save you from yourself, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, I get that's what you want, but because you were not developing and you're not really serious about life, this is exactly what happened. And so those men were around you and they were able to get to you simply because you were not on your job. I mean, it is what it is. If you're not serious about life, what's going to happen is you're going to get across people or get around people who are typically terrible, and they're not good people. And I know that people don't like that, and it's really bad to say, but that's honestly the truth. All right. Nobody really depletes you. You can get depleted because you're around people that you have to be around because you don't add any value to those people. And so now it becomes a problem. And I know that, you know, people want to go head on and change up and get to the big leagues and get to a better man or woman. But like I said, if you don't have anything to offer, you're depleting somebody else.
He's right, you know.
Like where you are right now, if a guy had $150,000 a year, you're depleting him. Now, I know you want to be a homemaker and you want to take care of the man, but realistically, you want somebody to pay for your kids while you go to school, and then you can be a housewife. But a man can get a lady with no kids and do that. Like you're not even really giving any reason why he should do it, and you're not being very competitive in your assessment. You're only talking about what you can get. And of course, people, they noticed that in the chat, and they left some very, very interesting comments that I want to talk about today. This person says, so you had 3 kids, then you start looking for a 6-figure provider? That's wild. You better at least look like Beyonce. I'm a side with the men on this one. A man that makes $50,000 a year doesn't even want this.
Got him.
He's right. All right. Ma'am, the 3 kids you have don't belong to the $100K a year man you want. What incentive does that man have to provide for another man's kids? Life is expensive now. In 2025, the request is delusional. I would agree. People are losing their jobs. AI is coming in.
Number one rule, don't be a weirdo. And here you go with some weirdo shit. So the standards come
after 2 babies, fathers, and 3 kids? Yeah, absolutely, right? The price goes up. Her past doesn't define her, but a man's past sacrifices to become financially successful matter to her. Exactly what I said. I've seen crazy before, but this right here is on another level. Sam, shout out to him. When you love doing something, but you don't get paid for it, that's not a career. That's a hobby. And he's referring to her art career, I'm pretty sure. And like, what can you do as an art person? Like, I'm not a hater, but damn. The problem is she should have negotiated that with her baby father. Stop, you're actually wrong. It's the baby fathers. Again, you know, people want what they want, and you have every right to desire what you want, but you got to have something to give outside of just what you want to give the world. It's important that you have what somebody else wants, and if you don't, it's typically problematic. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Ziggy2x back at it again with another episode of Grab the bell. We out.
Get different channel lineups for every TV lover in your household in one place. Keep everyone happy.
Oh, you know what that was? Oh, that doo-doo, baby.
All right, so I heard like 10 different things going on between the men and women, and I'm going to try my best based on what I heard and key points that I took away from what a lot of you were stating, and then what I think is probably going on. You said an excellent point, and your point about the tolerance factor, the acceptance factor. I don't think you all realize how significant that is when you were younger and you picked the wrong guys that you now know in hindsight weren't good for you. They were good guys there the whole time.
The whole time.
Legit nice dudes.
Facts.
Corny, lame,
The whole
nerds.
time.
That was me.
Guys that were still
The
students.
whole
Yeah.
time.
Hold on. Just to clarify, for every man that you picked, there was a man you didn't. Right. So just peep and catch that for a second. For every,
I'll let y'all know. Actually, for every man you picked, there was like the number of guys you didn't pick. For everyone you picked, you gave the Drake shoulder to like 15. I made that number up, but it sounds like it might be real. Every guy, 15. That's why I just wanted to say.
man that you picked, there was a man that you omitted. Right?
Or 50.
Right. Or 50 to be actually fair, right? So when you're expecting men that you didn't want, that you didn't take, that you didn't go out with, to wait around to when you may feel like dating them, what human being deserves to live like that? There's a segment of black men,
that's a good point,
who actually do like and love black women, wanted them. I went to school with them, and I'm going to give you an example from y'all going to hate me now, of how horrible I was back in the day in my prime. When I was in college, me and my very, very small cohort of guys that was going to a predominantly white institution, a PWI, we ran the school. We ran the school. We ran all up and through the school. All right? So for every woman and we were sharing the same women. We didn't realize it. We learned out later on when we talked. Yo, you messed around with so-and-so. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. So what we learned and observed, there were hundreds of guys that were going to the school we was going to, taking the classes we were going to, and they kept coming back to the very guys that wasn't even being in commitments, wasn't even locking it down. So, what's his name? The football player that everybody's wondering about, Travis.
He's.
This is an excellent example.
He's cooked
of how everybody knows the story. Everybody's talking about the warning. But nobody's talking about all the women that didn't want him until they learned of his name.
Yeah, but they still don't want him.
So what I'm saying is
yeah, they still don't want him.
So they want what he got, right? But the point I'm making is, a lot of women, Dr. Umar, who is going through his own challenges right now, he brought up a key point about the finish line. That when you were in high school, if you did go to college, there was an opportunity. When you all can choose, your father's not picking your partner, it's sexual liberation, you could pick your own partners. True. There were young men who were freshmen like you were. We started experiencing this in high school. When we were sophomores, the sophomore girls wanted to date the juniors. When we got to juniors and seniors, they're dating 24-year-old men. When we get to college, a lot of men were seeing the same exact thing. They were going for the older guys that were in school, the guys that were out of school, or the small subset of men that was in the school that can get all the girls.
Super cool.
Right? So what we're seeing, a lot of men are seeing, there's a huge pool of men that don't qualify for you. You're not interested in them. You're not checking for them. You want the guy that's fun, that's charismatic, that the other women also want. A lot of you did that. Not all, but many of you did that. So the first issue is, a lot of men are reacting and responding based off of where they're getting accepted. Where they're getting accepted. You all don't know what it's like to not be accepted from 18 to 28.
How you gonna say
What
that?
I mean by that is,
Because you're not precious, okay? That's crazy that she just said that right there. My dear, that you kind of triggered me a little bit. Step back. Do that favor for me. Just step back, ma'am. You're not precious. If you was precious, then what you're saying would make sense. I would think that she probably had it hard at 18 to like 20s. I would think that. But you, ma'am, maybe she fixed herself. Maybe she actually did do a whole lot of work on herself. I doubt it, but maybe you did. Let's see what happens.
All of you will get attention from men. All of you will get pursued. All of you have been asked out.
Right.
We are the pursuers. We're the initiators of asking and pursuing. So when you're the guy that keeps getting declined, or they're not even checking for you, I literally went to a wedding 2 years ago of a guy whose father won the lottery. Nobody knows about it. But because he's not the most handsome, charismatic, good-looking, fit dude, he only wanted to date black women, and none of them wanted him for his entire 20s.
Wow.
He ends up with a white woman.
Whoa.
And everybody's now saying, see, that's all you wanted. And I'm gonna land. So the first issue is you got to acknowledge that not all, but many of the men, it's not even that they have to come from a place of being jaded and hating black women. They just go where they're accepted. Number two, the standards. When Dr. Umar is saying that a lot of our women, because of trauma, because of their mothers or grandmothers talking about what they went through, and now you got to make your own money, and the guy got to make this and make sure that you this or that. Although that's coming from a place of love, that's also coming from a place of survivability.
Love.
And risk factors. And there's pros and cons to that. When I was growing up, and even now, when you go to a Chinese food store, and you go in there to order your shrimp egg roll and whatever,
right.
Who's at the counter and who's in the back cooking?
They're all related.
They're all related. The men and the women working. How many people, not y'all in particular, but how many of our women are talking about he's not a real man unless he can afford blah, blah, blah. Unless he's making X amount. So while they're building together, your man has to come like a finished product. Hispanic community. If a lot of their men are doing construction work, working in the fields, working and doing labor jobs,
got a baddie at home.
Are there women stereotypically also working, cleaning units?
Yes. She working in food truck,
cleaning food, doing food trucks. So hold on, so she working, the Asian woman working, the Hispanic woman working, and they working with their men.
And the Indian women.
And the women,
Thank you. Come again.
Yeah.
They're working too.
Either for their men or with their men. And there's a segment, not all of our women, but a lot of us are saying our men need to be here. And then when you all get degrees and y'all start making y'all money, do y'all standards go up or down? Hold on. Hear me out. I'm landing. If your standards, if you keep working and you keep making money and your standards are not going down but up, the pool of men that now meet that, it doesn't matter what his race is. The man that makes enough money that all the women in the world are saying they want, most of those men don't want to commit. They don't need to.
Exactly.
So that's the issue. When part of feminism in the quest of making more money and being sexually liberated is you got to pick who you wanted, you got to have sex with who you wanted, you get to have children with who you want, but the part not liberalism, but more so feminism left out is there's a consequence for that. So when you don't want to build, when you want to focus on only the small minority of guys, and your standard is going up over time, you're going to fall into a scenario where your mindset is, if I'm not getting with the men that I want, it's got to only be because the men hate their women, or because they hate us.
No, you price out of the market is what it is.
And that's oftentimes that's what's happening. If you all look how you look now, I'm assuming that y'all all are ugly siblings. Y'all were all ugly ducklings 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Still would have got a nigga though.
Yeah, you still would have got one.
Thank you. There you go. That's the thing I was waiting for people to understand. Precious might have had a harder time, but in actual reality, if we gonna really be honest, Precious still could have got a guy. As long as you got sugar walls, our biology as men, we like, oh man, I need to be inside something. It's not a good thing. It makes you struggle. Do y'all know if you put the psychology of men, you also put the way America is shaped and how the government has made it? Do you know We get depressed and we feel like we can't do nothing with ourselves unless we get a lady and give her our money. Yeah, let that sizzle in your spirit. That's what America has convinced us. You
That's
get with
insane.
that lady, yeah, you should take care of her. And there's a good chance she's gonna leave you and take half your things. It takes the guy, him losing the things, for him to say, all right, I'm out. Most guys who has not been through the court system and lost these things, they get depressed that they can't roll the dice for this person to take half their things. And you want me to believe that these women out here, they down on their luck of finding dinguses. Nigga, please, okay?
So that's some of the things that are being communicated that I think maybe wasn't being totally factored in.
Okay.
That was well said. Real quick, drop DVD thing in the chat.
Dom
$50 donated to the show.
DeMarco,
300 bucks.
DeMarco.
Listen, ladies, I don't like black women. Okay, let's just keep it all the way at 100. I love black women. Period.
The way you say that, you're not convincing.
She was like, he's right here. He's right here. He's right here.
Yeah.
Shout to him.
Yeah, but did you peep? Hold on, just with what he said and what I just said.
Get out of here, man.
Notice that what he said and what I said was actually the same thing. Ooh. Nothing that I just said with those experiences, y'all choices and dating options, none of that was about we hate y'all. That was just your preferences, his options, who accepted them, and what the standards were for what's being asked of these guys as we're both getting older.
Wait, let her go and
Nah,
then
I
let's
honestly
see.
got lost.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead and then let's
Go ahead.
I would prefer you guys use the word settle instead of go where you appreciate it. Because for us, it's the word settle is used. And we just go where we're
No, that's not the same. No, that word is not the same thing though.
No, when they were talking about the black and the white school.
Yeah, but that's not settling though.
Well, let me explain to me what you mean by that.
Explain
me what you mean by that.
Brother with the dreads, I explain. What she's saying is that women are told that they should settle and the men are told that they should go where they're appreciated. That's what she's saying. Neither of you are actually settling. You're listening to talking points, my dear. That's talking points. When guys are telling you to settle, you're not actually settling. You're getting the thing that you actually can get. You know what settling is? Settling would be you get all these top guys. You get all these guys. You constantly get these guys. You are still getting these guys. And then you see somebody and you say, I'll take that. Then I will say that's settling, but that's not what women get. Women don't settle. They get actually what their pockets is worth. Men, I would believe there's more men who settle than women. A guy who has a full-time job and he can take care of his whole family, but somehow his lady over there looks like Miss Potato Head. We've seen Miss Potato Head wives that work like a part-time job or don't work, and they look like Mrs. Potato Head. I would say that guy is settling because he has been told that if he tries to talk to somebody who has lower standards, he's a manipulator and he's a user. Women aren't told that they're a manipulator and a user. Besides them being like gold diggers, they gotta do something so extreme. Talk to an extremely old guy who about to give up and go to the upper room. Then they're called that. Shannon Sharp is not on his last leg, but he was called a manipulator user. The girl who's 19, if she got with a guy who is 80 something, is in the bed about to croak, then they would say something about her. See how they just brushed over the fact that the young lady got with Shannon Sharp and got $20 million. They just brushed right past that. Men actually settle more than women. That's just my theory.
We go, as women, we go where we appreciate it. And they tell you, oh, you settled for this. You settled for that. But when the men go where they're appreciated, it's called...
Yeah, that's not... Hold on. That's not...
I see what you're saying.
No, but that's not what it is, though. Hold on. That's not when you're accepted. That's at the level that you can retain commitment.
Let me hear what you're saying. Let me hear what she's saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's just saying, like, if you... Like, okay, I'm settling for... You will tell a woman, in other words, she's just like saying, make the language equal for both sides. So if you're going to say that a woman is going to settle... Like, if I am with a white man because that's what likes me, you're going to say, okay, you're settling for a white man. That's what she's trying to say. But if you say, I'm going with a white woman because that's who likes me, they say, go where you're appreciated. That's what she's trying to say. So she's saying, you're settling for a white woman and I'm settling for a white man. We're settling for less, essentially.
No. It's not. Hold on. that's not the same thing, though.
I don't agree.
Okay, I
it's not the same thing.
You don't agree because it's not true. That women have more options. She's not settling. She could have got with this other person. She could have got with these other people. The guy who gets rejected everywhere he goes, then that's when I'm gonna go where people like me at. She's not doing that. That's just a lie. That's that emotional thing that they be trying to throw at everybody and say that I had a hard life. And then you find out this heifer been turning down all the guys, have Pokemon cards when they were younger. Like she was turning down all these guys, but no guy wanted her when she was younger. That's them. Whatever, you get what I'm saying. Women don't go where they're appreciated, okay? Women just keep on running through different options.
Can I come back to it? Because it's gonna tie all this together, right? So the same way there is a pool of black men that are being overlooked, those same black men, there's a pool of black women that they're overlooking. Because let's be real, currently, let's be real. Most people like who don't like them, right? So you might be a 5, you looking at a 10. You can't be mad that all the 10s don't like you, but you're a 5. And there's probably a 5 looking at you, and you're not looking at them.
Dudes aren't mad at that, though. Dudes, generally speaking, aren't mad at that, though. They understand the game.
The problem is, in school, all the hot black girls didn't want us. Back then.
But like
Mike Jones, though, we back now with some money. Now they want us, but they can't get us.
But high school is not your home.
So
I know,
that sounds like insecurity.
So hold on,
you need to go. You need to go heal your childhood wounds.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Just about this piece of what you just brought up. This is the confusion when it comes to understanding the male experience, and the female experience when it comes to dating and relationships. Unless you all are virgins, and unless you all have never been in relationships before, you don't know what it's like when it comes to never being desired. What you learn and find out later on, after your teens and potentially your 20s, and how long it takes before you fall off, is that your options start to decline. There are men that never had options
to begin with.
This is an entirely different frame of reference.
Completely different.
You cannot take the super successful men and say that's the experience for most men. I am screaming at the top of my lungs and trying to tell y'all, there are dudes that, when you came here, there were dudes that you walked past, there were dudes that serviced you, there were dudes that do all types of things that are invisible to you. They're invisible to you. That's their life. Y'all start experiencing that when physical things start to decline, when you start adding additional things in your life that are now burdens for the next man.
Buying your own drinks.
And you don't typically know, and you don't always typically know what the quote unquote invisibility factor is until you get older and you have to start buying your own drinks. So I've literally heard women have told me this in therapy sessions. You can look it up and go on YouTube and type in women being invisible, and you'll start to see the decline. The reason why it's so distressing to them is because they went from 18 or 16 to 35 or 40 before they started even experiencing that. Oh, people ain't asking me out as much.
It's not their norm.
There's guys that was never a norm for them, ever.
Right.
So what I'm speaking to is there's a segment of men, some of them end up in anger and they lash out at black women. They use these podcasts and spaces to talk about how horrible women are. There's other men who go where they're appreciated. There's other men that go abroad. But what I'm saying is be very mindful and careful. If y'all don't want all of you to be viewed and seen in a negative light, in front, all black women this, all black women that. I was in an interracial relationship. Y'all have been in interracial relationships.
Umar, paging Dr. Umar.
I don't assume that you hate the black community when you did. But there's an assumption that when we do it, we do.
Facts. That's true.
Okay? So
only if you're desirable, though.
Yeah, so when we as men are hearing what y'all are saying, what we're trying to explain is some of the men that you're describing you're totally right. What you're saying, the settling, the hatred, the bigotry, the racism, there are men like that. I am doing life with men who have never in their life uttered negative words about black women. They just went damn near 40 years of their life where black women wasn't checking for them.
Been invisible.
So he has to keep waiting for this unicorn black woman that's going to look past what all the other black women didn't want. Or is he going to go accepted. Where he's accepted?
Finally be accepted by the black woman.
Dr. Umar is saying, I'll phrase it this way. if, with me, use me as an example. When I was younger, making less, was even skinnier than I was now, do you think I had more options or less options?
Less options.
Less options. So that means the same, not just black, the same women, all races and cultures that wasn't checking for me. Right. When I started making a little bit more money, I got going in my career. I'm now spending my time with millionaires and on yachts and getting on helicopters and doing all sorts of stuff, and they're seeing it online. The very same women that would not go out with me, that I'm asking out, who look like you, are now wondering why he go with her?
Why we never went out?
Why we,
Because you ain't want to, stupid.
Unless you think I don't have a memory. I distinctly remember asking you out. That is an experience, a lived experience, that when y'all are framing this discussion, you got to remember that last piece. You had something and you had something.
Yeah,
real quick, guys, we're gonna cut YouTube, every other platform of the Rumble.
Big screen. Yeah, so I'll let y'all know right now. Whenever I hear like women say this thing about, you know, hey yo, you're going through this, I'm going through this. Sweetheart, ain't the same. What he said is true. I know about the guys who literally, the hard times. When I went to a majority white school and a majority black school, well, I got to see both sides of this thing. And I'll let you know right now, that shit was wild. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got upset when the light skin one told Fresh that, oh, I think that's an insecurity that you need to fix. It's like, no, you can call it insecurity all you want, but it was true. The Mike Jones reference was correct. It's very correct. So once you start getting stuff, because you know, I ain't saying all women, but a lot of women, they like stuff. Like, I like some stuff. Can I have some stuff? You got stuff that actually exists. So you can call it insecurity all you want. It's correct. It's better for you to defeat it besides just calling it insecurity. I don't like it. And when I hear women say things like, I'm gonna go where I'm appreciated, it's like, sister girl, okay, there's only like 3 of you out there in the world. 3 of you out there need to go somewhere where they're appreciated. Like 3. Most of you, all you gotta do is say yes to dates. If women said yes to majority dates and said no to sleeping with them, they will still end up in a relationship. Just keep saying yes to I will go on a date with you. Yeah, I will actually listen. I will actually contribute in this date. Do you want to go on a second date? If they said yes, I'm telling you, they're gonna end up in a relationship based off the numbers. It's like, there's damn near should be no woman single. If you got a cooter cat and you're nice, I don't even see how you're single. I really don't see. There's people out here, everybody want a pre-built person for some reason. They don't want to just go grab the lady and say, hey, yo, we can work together and we can make this work. I'm gonna put 2 years in on you. Don't nobody get offended. I treat my women like old school bot Chevys. You need some type of help, I'm gonna put all type of work into you. All type of work. Your hair, we gonna make that thing natural and shea buttery. Your body, we gonna get you in shape. We're gonna be doing some squats. And then by the time you done, you'll be like an 8, baby. Pre-built women, no, let them go sit in corners and shrivel up. Let them look like the alien off of Men in Black when they opened up that head and it was in there. You know how it looked tired? Contest. Let them go in the corner and do that.
Oh, you ain't know what that was. Oh, that doo-doo, man. And today we're reacting to Atlanta men start wearing skirts. Big mistake. So I saw
crazy
TikTok,
work,
right? And I swiped by just like, cause it made me upset. It was 2 men like in skirt. I was like, it don't look like they, you know, swing that way. But I mean, maybe that's just what it is. This is the wrong thing on my timeline. Let me hurry up and swipe off before they start promoting more. I see that this is actually a thing that's taking the internet by a storm. And now it's time for me to bring that to you guys. So let's get into it. Make sure you pull to the Twitch better stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. At 5 or 6 p.m. Let's do it.
As time goes on, typically people become better at certain things. For an example, we can...
O'Shea know how to find some of the most craziest hairlines on a black male in this world, boy.
Yeah, straight up.
He know how to find them. There's no hair.
He really do. He really
braids on head with no hair, like no
hairline.
He got a front tape
with no hairline.
It's like it just don't even make sense.
You peep it, right?
This don't even make sense. You're getting your hair done, but you're skipping the cut.
Look at that. Look at that.
If you're a producer who hates
Insane
AI,
work.
this plugin might change your mind. This is reimagining co-producer. You can take
shit.
And he's still getting a haircut, by the way, because there's low hair on the side. Somebody's cutting this.
Well, we can argue that basketball players are more athletic, more skilled, and stronger than they were in the 80s or 90s. We could say the same thing for technology, but some people don't believe that that's the case for everything. In the case of hip hop, for an example, people will say the rappers of today are not as good as the rappers of yesterday. If we look at Clips's God Sort 'Em Out's album, we can understand that their album was better than almost anybody else younger than them.
I've been hearing that. That's hard. Y'all been telling me I need to go listen to that. I'm gonna go check it out.
The same could be said about men, in particular, black men. The black men of today are nothing like the black men of yesteryear. They are not strong, hardworking, and masculine like the grandfathers of the 50s and 60s, or even before then, or the fathers from the 70s.
Yeah, I'll be saying that. Like when I be doing a skincare routine at night, I'll be like, I just know my grandfather turning in his grave. Like, man, what is this nigga doing, man? I'm over here taking care of my skin, anti-age and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He over here like, bro, what is this nigga doing, bro? I like to keep some of, like, you know, that hard work, because I used to be with him. You know, when I be with him, we be fishing and I'll be doing a bunch of hard labor and this is that and the third. So, you know, that's instilled in me. That's there. But yeah, bro. I mean, I'm not. But same. But look though, bro. This is how you used to have to dress back then. Pull up full suit. You about to pop out. I'm in a wife beater, a beanie, some carpenter jeans, and some Ricks right now in my crib. I ain't even going nowhere. I'm relaxing, bro. I don't want to put on full suit and go use it. Take the jacket off and start hitting railroad checks. My grandfather worked on the railroad fucking 90 years, bro. I'm not trying to do that.
They're not like that. For most women, these guys are not even men.
And it's like every other day we see black men constantly on this app or social media complaining about how life isn't fair, how they got to rebuild themselves, they need help, they need the woman's help. It's like they are literally the only men that get on here and tell the world that they're broken and they need to be built up by women. And they don't find that emasculating.
This particular sister is complaining that black men of today have so many issues.
Hold up. I know he didn't just tear his ACL and rupture his Achilles trying to run. Oh yeah, his shit fucked.
They need
His
women's
shit
help.
fucked. Sorry, y'all.
And the complaining and all of the crying from these men, they don't see that it's emasculating them. So in other words, the black men of today are behaving like women. But other people have noticed this as well.
I did a little report, a video a couple of years ago about how teacher put a little boy in a dress without the parents' permission.
Out of control.
You know, it's being
that. Nah, it can't go like that. That's one of them. You go, my woman. We go in there and turn that motherfucker up. We found that out. Put my son in a dress, bro. We would come in there to turn that up. Ain't no way. My mom would even turn that up. She ain't going. She would have been hot. Well, either one of my little brothers or me. Anything. I ain't going.
Push now, you know what I mean?
Brother Ben X says he noticed that even in certain schools that they are teaching young black men to put on dresses. But he also adds this.
I believe it definitely is an agenda because again, when you look back at COINTELPRO, what did they want to stop? They want to stop militant black men. They want to stop militant groups to be, you know, standing up for our people. So
black men are no longer allowed to be masculine like in the days before. That's the important part because COINTELPRO wanted to break down black men so that they would not be a threat to the system. And not being a threat to the system is organizing, taking care of your kids, taking care of your family, and basically fighting against the racism and systemic oppression that black men have faced in the country for years. But when it comes to men in general, we're hearing these arguments all the time about what's going on.
What is soft on a man? What's supposed to be soft on a man? His breast, his thighs. What kind of soft boy era are they living in? They really are trying to, you know, I know it's like funny and it's supposed to be like a joke, but literally, if men don't even want to be masculine anymore, then the woman will literally just start, quote unquote, creating the things on her own without him. And then when he approaches and can't get anything or any type of response from a woman and wonders why, it's because he's not giving any masculine energy.
Now this is Shira 7. She's saying that
Nobody trying to hear no Shira 7.
Don't want to take care of
It's
women,
weird as
and
fuck.
the reason why women don't
50
want
years
them
old, still
is because
dating
they
and shit.
lack masculine energy.
Trying to get
This is
over on
important.
niggas.
But wait, there's more.
And any men who talks down upon women because they don't have anything to give her or want to give them is living literally in their feminine. They've been raised by women, and then they want to blame the women for raising them instead of dropping them off at the orphanage or at the fire station. You know, you could have been left in a toilet, a dumpster, an orphanage, or a fire station. So you better be glad somebody stuck around to raise you.
Now she's saying that the guys who are lacking masculine energy were raised by their mothers, but they're blaming these women who raised them. But while you're complaining about these women who raised them, they could have dropped you off and made you homeless, because you can't blame the women who raised
the you were raised by I could tell you were raised by women argument. You know, that's a tough one, because it's kind of like you're telling somebody who had no choice in the matter,
right?
And talking about them a certain way. Now, I'm raised by women, you know what I'm saying? I was raised by my mom. My father passed when I was 2 years old. She then married, and he left out of our lives when I was 10 years old. I'm gonna be a little vulnerable with y'all, and just let y'all know into my life. So when I was 10 years old, you know, I had a father figure in the house from 2 to 10. From 10 to however long, I forget. It was me. My mom was bringing us up. Now, the difference between, I don't know how other people's situation was, right? The difference between my situation was I still had men in my life. So every single summer, I would go to my dad's side. My dad that passed away. I would go to Atlanta every summer. So I'm with the men that, like my dad's brother, you know what I'm saying? My dad's father, you feel me? My dad's sister, like I'm with them, you know what I'm saying? And they come from a very hard-working, tough luck. Like there's been time I was running outside, playing football with my uncle or cutting grass or something. He told me to just run. Like he used to have me do. He used to say, "I'm gonna bully you like your dad used to bully me, just so I can get my get back." Right? So he was having me do stuff, and he would be like, "You He'd be like, one day he was like, "You run like a girl, man. Freaks how you run." Like, so certain things like that, right? My mom knew. She tried her best to raise a man. She tells me this now. She tried her best to raise a man, even though she couldn't. Like she couldn't be a man. She couldn't do everything, but she tried to. I came up very tough love. So did me and my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Now my other brothers, they're growing up a little bit different because they have a man in the house. But I grew up different, right? In regards
I
to
grew up
that way.
different.
So, but even with that though, regardless, I don't know how other people's mothers were raising them up. I don't know. Again, mine was very tough love. You feel me? My mom expected a lot out of me, and things like that. But I still, even with that being said, I still, like, people be trying to say that about dudes that get raised up like that. How can they help that? And they have to find, and they don't know how to navigate and do certain things and figure certain things out, right? And you can't blame them for that. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel for them like that because, again, like I said, I came up that way, but I think
he got more father figures than I do, and he's a little bit more feminine than I am.
Coming up, I mean, the people in my life, they just didn't allow me to be a certain way. But in a situation like this, when it comes to the women, it's like, I don't know what angle she's kind of taking right now. I'm a little bit confused on what she's saying. I just like, let me speak my piece in regards to that. It's like she's saying they feminine, but they're raised by moms, but then they're blaming the moms that raised them up when they could have left them in the garbage or something like that. Like, what's the relevance here? I'm missing the point that she's trying to relate.
You and didn't help you pick a father because they could have left you for dead.
There's 8 billion people in the world and 8 billion ways to see it.
I ain't trying to hear that.
Now, this argument contradicts itself.
That exactly. Okay. I'm like, that was even okay. All right.
On one hand, you blame the black men raised by women
Right.
who can't tap into their masculine nature. And then when those same men blame their moms.
And for y'all black men that was raised by your moms, this is my question to y'all that maybe didn't have no male figures. It was just you and your mom ducks. What your mom have you in there doing? Well, she just did everything. She made.
Nah, I had set rules of things that she was expecting me to do by the end of the week. All punishments are were levied through my coaching systems. So if I did something bad in class, all of my coaches knew. I would get reprimanded by every last one of them, not just one. I was a multi-sport athlete, so if I had a bad grade or I cussed out my teacher or something like that, football coach would get my ass first. Wrestling coach would get my ass next. Lacrosse coach would get my ass after that. If I was doing track that year, I would probably just be doing 1,400-meter runs the entire practice, even though I was a field athlete. I did shot put, discus, and javelin. I did maybe the occasional 100 and 200 race randomly here and there, but I would probably still be doing 1,400-meter runs straight up. Anything outside of that would all be, she would do it all. I mean, I would take out trash. I would, clean up the kitchens or whatever like that, make sure the room was clean or whatever. But outside of that, no, it wasn't like I did a whole bunch of shit to do. I'd cut the grass from the age of 9 to 22. Every day I washed all of the cars. That was mine, my mom's, and my grandmother's car. Every weekend after I cut the grass. After I was done with that, I was allowed to go to work. I averaged 2 sports a season, so you would literally do either wrestling and football, wrestling and track, lacrosse and track. Football was my main one, so I literally just did football all year round practically and just had another sport that I would either dibble and dabble in every year. And once you get out of practice, take your ass to work. The money you get from work will be the money that you get for lunch and whatever spending or whatever you want to do. The money once I got my car, the money you would get from working would be your gas money and then lunch money. Everything else was handled. I didn't have to worry about anything else. As long as my black ass took out that trash on Wednesdays, took out the trash when the trash can was full inside the house, put it out there in the thing, and then Wednesday I would put it out there for the trash collection people to pick it up. Proceed to take my ass to my first practice, especially when I was driving. First practice would be 8 a.m. or no. Yeah, it was 7:30 a.m. was first practice because we started school at 9:15 or something like that. First practice, go to class, do all my stuff, leave out 3:25, practice, second practice, afternoon, full practice till about 6. From 6, go straight to work till about 10, 11, then pop back, do this whole damn thing over again. I did that for years.
You didn't have to make your bed and wash your own clothes.
I did have to wash my own clothes, but I did not ever make my bed. I ain't gonna lie. My mom left my room to my own device. She popped in every once in a while. You just want to live in filth? Nah, not really. You should probably clean up. I know you tired, but clean up. Okay, bet. Like it wasn't that serious.
Figure things out. Like she did everything for you. I don't know. I don't know. Even because I same thing.
My mom worked a 8 to 8 job. I came home if my grandmother didn't fix food, because she worked too. If she didn't fix any food, I'd have to make my own food.
Well, my other people in my cousins, same thing. They got raised up by women. You feel me? We had a situation where a lot of the men, it was either jail. These certain things just happen, right? So, but we still had all the same male figures, and they didn't allow certain things. We still had uncles and grandfathers and things like that was still on that. So I just don't see it because I see how everything is. Now I see the flaw. We all got flaws from certain things, I'd imagine. You know what I'm saying? My cousins got flaws and things like that. But like they not no buster ass though.
For not selecting a father, you say, oh well, you shouldn't be blaming the woman because she's the one that actually saved you. Now again, damned if you do and damned if you don't. And that brings us to this topic. A few young men out of Atlanta.
I forgot what the video was about, bro.
Right.
For this.
We go black tee, we go iCash skirt, we go tights, black hat threes. Alright, we go with iCash polo, iCash lace skirt on the bottoms.
Regardless, if it's a joke or it's for real, tripping. This gotta be a joke though. This cannot be niggas like no, we bringing something clean to the streets. Like this is how we bringing something new. There's no possible way in the world. Or somebody that they think is some Illuminati member said, hey, you gonna do this and we're gonna catapult you to the top, and they actually believed it. The whole time it was some homeless on the street. There's no way they think that this is
Now, these guys are wearing skirts, and we can say that's a fashion statement. I mean, the Irish guys have done it before. We've had wrestlers in the past like Roddy Piper.
Them is kilts. Now, again, exactly. I don't know what but there's something history there behind that. These niggas is wearing female little booty skirts, the ones you don't even want your girl wearing, because the ass is gonna be at the bottom.
That's done it. And okay, yes, kilts or skirts, and men in Scotland and Europe have done it. But this is a little bit different because Black American men are not known for doing this. Now, we have seen entertainers.
Bro, if I saw my son, even this right here, this ain't it. This is not it. If I saw my son moving this way, bro, I would have to like put the gloves on, bro. You gotta see me. Look, let me break something down to you, bro. I love you, man. If this how you living, I'll never disown my son. If he was homosexual, bro, I'm not disowning my son. I love my son. I love him to death. It is what it is. This is the life you chose. I don't see that happening because of certain things that I'm moving and instilling, and how we living. But in some way, shape, or form, if it got in some universe where that happened, I'm not disowning my son. But I'll tell you this though, bro. Look, all that. This, all that, all that flamboyant, all this, that, and the third, while in the crib, and you wearing this, bro, you're not doing that. When you get out of the crib, you can do all of that, bro. You hate me for it if you want, this, that, and the third. But in the crib with me, you wearing clothes, bro. You ain't gotta be, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to wear it, but you wearing clothes, though. You ain't wearing skirts and dresses and makeups outside the crib. We ain't doing that, brother. We wearing regular clothes, bro.
Russell Westbrook and certain other guys be involved in like Paris Fashion Week and do this. But when you look at it from a masculine standpoint, it can be looked at in two ways. Number one, this is a trend for guys to be different. Number two, here is the feminization and the emasculation of black men. And these are the black men that these women are complaining about. And they don't like it. A lot of the women don't like it, okay? Now, the guys, they kind of think that it's a joke and, whatever. But a lot of the women will point to this and say, oh, here we go in Atlanta. These guys are gay. I told you black men were gay. All of these things are situations that you will hear when it comes to these young black men who are trying out these new fashion trends or possibly experimenting with their sexuality. And again, I say, who raised these?
So, what's the verdict?
Gorgeous.
You're looking incredible in that dress.
Men.
Crazy.
In order for you to get the kind of men that you want, I'm gonna keep saying this, you have to invest in those kind of men. All right? It's the same thing for any business, any powerhouse program in sports. I mean, if you look at Nebraska in the 80s and 90s under Tom Osborne, you know, he stayed there for like almost 27 years, and he had to build that program up into a national powerhouse. Now, same thing with any other team, you know, any other business. You have to develop what you want to see to get a product. And it's not easy developing what you want to see. To develop black men or any kind of man that has responsibilities, that want to take care of his women, that want to look masculine and act masculine,
right,
you have to invest in wanting to be with the father. And the father has to invest in wanting to be with the mother.
Right.
But when you have a man and a woman who don't feel like they ought to get married and take care of their kids, or basically do it all by themselves and co-parent, well, then you might get some more of this. This is not to say that all, you know, black men that have two parents won't address like this, but if you don't have black men understanding the masculine roles in societies, then you're gonna have this. And then
I refuse to believe, and I don't know again, but I just refuse to believe, regardless if you even co-parent where you got your dad and you got your mom, if you don't got your dad and you just got your mom is not promoting and sitting here like, yeah, nah, you good? Yeah, where that? You good? Where is this? I don't feel like this is coming from that. Somebody break that down for me. How is that just because you got your mother? Because your mother, at the end of the day, was not that was wearing a skirt. Your mother knows what that looks like. Your mother promoting, you see your son coming up, and you see your son doing this, and then it is what it is. What is that? No, that correlation doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't. It don't. There was no way my mom would have seen this and been like, she would call, if she saw me do that right now, she would call me and be like, yo, what's going on? She would think something she would come down to Houston and have to see and sit down with me because she would think something mentally ill was going, like, you feel me? I had some type of, something happened. She would have to come like, no, she would be calling, is everything okay? She'd be confused, bro. So I don't see what's the core, how is that even?
And the scapegoat that happened.
It's because you were living with your mom longer. Now this makes sense because his mom raised him up, so his mom raised him to do it. Doesn't make.
No, what be happening is, and it's not just in Atlanta, because I seen this with damn, what's that damn famous person? And they got their little kid, and the girl ain't never did nothing but should be on TikTok and shit. But anyways, it's famous people out there that have that live in separate homes or separated or whatever like that from the baby mamas or whatever, and the kids be doing mad flagrant shit, and the moms ain't gonna stop them kids from doing the mad flagrant shit. They just think that that's funny, and they laugh about it, and they have their friends going all around doing all that goofy ass shit, and just recreating that whole weirdo stuff. Like little boys walking around with their mom's purse. I mean, look, everybody did it, but then everybody's mom wasn't promoting them and letting them do it continuously. I mean, I put on my mom's shoes when I was mad young, walked around with a little purse when I was mad young in the house, but I got corrected because that wasn't regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't because I was gay or nothing. I'm just emulating people that I saw around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we get told, oh, little boys don't do that. You a little boy, right? Yeah, I'm a little boy. You like playing sports and all of that, right? Well, that's little boys don't do that. Little boys that play sports don't do that. But of course, when I was young, I was exposed to the homosexual plot or whatever like that, the gays and LGBT, whatever. Because I have a cousin that's like that. He was like that from the start. It wasn't like he just randomly woke up one day and was like, "Yeah, I'm gay now." Nah, we knew he was different from the get go. You know, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it ain't. But the thing is that if your parents consistently back the idea of you doing some stuff that might be somewhat flagrant or somewhat seen as non heterosexual things that you doing, and it's not corrected, or you don't tell them, oh well, this is what I want to do, or this is what I feel like, then you tend to get put in those situations where you feel like it's okay. And if you get put in a situation where you feel like that's okay, then you tend to end up doing stuff like this because you don't have any kind of boundaries. You have nothing that stops you from whoa. Okay, yeah. Stops you, nothing stops you from wanting to do that kind of stuff. Or, be part of that vibe. And I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, if it's something that's continuously uncorrected or unchecked, then it turns into a weird homogenous situation where you don't know exactly what is and what ain't. So yeah, you end up with stuff like this.
Happens is black women are gonna point this out and call these guys out for this. This is what I'm talking about. These dudes just want each other. These dudes just hate each other.
And they might
ask that same lady, are you a single mom? She gonna be
you
like,
just don't as a straight woman, and you have a situation like that where you're confused about what they got going on, then you just don't deal with them. Why would you go deal with them and then all of a sudden get mad because you find out they gay? They doing gay shit. I mean, am I tripping? I don't think I'm tripping. If you're doing gay shit and a woman comes over here and she's still giving you play, and you get to dig her guts out, and then you turn around and do some DL shit, then that's not your fault. That's their fault. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, the same woman complaining about a lack of black men that are strong out there is basically a single mom or doesn't have a man herself. And this is the issue. You have to want your son or your daughter to have both parents in the house.
I agree. I definitely agree. I feel as if that's extremely important. I see that it's extremely important because my girl, she don't like disciplining my son. You know what I'm saying? She don't like, maybe that's where it is. There's a certain level of discipline that don't get had.
There you go. What I just say.
For them. Because again, I don't know where this comes from because all the black women in my life, and you could get your ass whooped by anybody. My grandmother would do you dirt. She'll get that and tear that ass.
Exactly how it used to be.
Crazy if you want to. It was a yes ma'am, no ma'am. You can't say yeah when they call you from downstairs. You can't even say yeah. You can't. Ooh,
no, don't do that
downstairs. We can't do that now. Yeah, no,
nope.
It's yes ma'am. Nah, all of that.
Or you take your ass downstairs.
I guess other people just not raised like that. Even my friends that I was living around was raised like that though. We all knew.
Yeah, they ain't doing it like that no more. That's the problem.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate and see both sides. This is how I do. Feel me? Some people call that fence ride. I call it being open-minded. I see both sides. Okay, let me see the ones, and I choose where I land. But maybe.
Okay, if you want this to stop, then you can't just be out there getting your cheeks clapped or booty clapping it up without condoms just because you want to have fun for the night or get pregnant. You have to understand that it takes a lot of work, a lot of folks in the community that can have a good effect on your son. All right. Now, when I came up in the 80s and 90s in the black community, it seems so long ago. But one thing I can say is we had a lot of black men in our community that teach you how to cut the grass and how to do stuff like that. I can remember my granddaddy right now. Boy, keep that wheel by that edge, boy. You missed the spot. Stop. Put that wheel by that edge. Keep that wheel by that edge.
If you want to build an app and have no idea how to code or where to start, check out Base 44. I built this daily habit tracker that helps.
Get out of here.
Rest in peace, Grandpa.
Yeah, too,
He
I
lived
can
till he's
tell.
101 years old. But he used to teach me, boy, keep that wheel by that edge. He would get me up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, show me how to do things. Now, I wasn't really an outdoorman kind of person or fixing cars and stuff, but he tried to show me what he could because he knew one day I would have to go head on and have my own family. And he tried to give me as much as he could. The same with my dad. But you don't see that right now in the black community. A lot of black men, if you grew up in my time and you went to church, if you had brotherhood service on Mondays or whatever, you had men you can reach out to. You had men that could help you get summer jobs. You had men that could help you do something in the community. Those things are not there anymore.
That's true, and I agree, but it's just a different. The times have changed. Like certain things have switched. You don't even see people really, like where I am at least. I'm not seeing too many people even cutting their own grass. They calling people to cut their own grass, right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of places are renting now. A lot of people don't even own their own crib to cut their own grass now, to learn certain things like that.
Right.
Your car, they got electric cars. You take it to over here, or you know, you might have a gas car. So some people, you should always know to change the damn tire. You feel me? Things like that. But a lot of the things that were once a thing are not that. And even with, let's say, jobs now, you feel me? Certain jobs, like people are. The job market has switched in regards to these types of jobs don't even take certain people like this no more. It's done switched up to this. The internet has opened up a whole new. There's gonna be different things. Like I see it like this. Like there are certain things that are always going to have to translate, that we're always gonna have to know, right? Like I said, changing tires. You know, maybe changing your oil. So even if you really get into it, changing your brakes. I feel like being the more broke you are, and the more things you kind of got to do because you ain't got the money to fix certain things. Like I remember when my car would mess up or something like that, I ain't got the bread. I got to get on YouTube and start, you know what I'm saying? I was comfortable with that because again, I grew up and raised up with my uncles and my grandfather. You know, I had to be under trucks and cars and stuff like that and learn this thing. So it was a comfortable thing, and I guess I can make that more comfortable for my children and my grandchildren and stuff like that. But in a world where
that ain't
these
helpful
things are not
when it's rampant all the way around
anymore, other things are. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather couldn't teach me how to do what I'm doing and be as successful as I've become in my home. I'm saying this in the most humble way possible, and the most successful as I come by the age that I am and the industry that I'm in. You feel me? I was told. You know, he wanted me to go to college and do this. My uncle, he wanted me to go to school, be a doctor or a lawyer. You know, God rest both their soul. You feel me? And I'm talking about another uncle, not the one that was on my dad's side. My dad's side wanted me to come drive trucks and do CDLs and wanted me to follow in them, do what they do. You feel me?
Right.
Own trucks and drive trucks and this, that, and the third. You feel me? They own their trucking business and stuff. They want me to do that. My dad, before he passed, he had a company called Alexander and Alexander. The other Alexander was for me. And that was gonna be, he was gonna teach me to do a whole lot of fixing stuff in the crib. He did a lot of renovated houses and fixed houses and stuff like that. You feel me? So, but because of unfortunate events, certain things didn't go the way that was supposed to be. Another lane, but that same work ethic has been passed down to me to do things like go crazy with the internet. Things need to be done right. I'm real meticulous and particular on how certain things are done. You feel me? I have to have other outside sources come talk to me about, this is how, like, they used to do it like this, that, and the third, and it's be hard. I trust only so many voices. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because they know how I like things done. You got to get with the deal program for me to even listen to what you had to say, right? So, things are gonna get passed down. I'm gonna be able to pass certain things to my kids that my people couldn't teach me, right? But certain things are gonna get lost too because the world is changing ultimately.
You know, in the 70s and 80s, when you had a lot of single mothers in the black communities, you had a lot of black men that had boxing gyms. And
see, like something like this. My son, I'm gonna make sure he's in that gym boxing, for sure.
you know, a lot of the coaches was there, basketball, things that a man could step up and just, you know, be like that, right? And kind of help your son. Those things are not really there as much as it used to be, right? We don't operate in the same way. So if black women are going to complain about men like this, then are you doing your job by having a man that can actually teach your son and your daughter how to be the right kind of person? Do you have that infrastructure in place? Because if you don't, then I just don't understand what the complaints are. If you're not out there trying to solve the problem of why you think these young black men are wearing skirts or why you think these young black men are effeminized, I just don't get why you're complaining, because you are definitely not helping. This is something that needs to be talked about more often. Like, I get it. You don't want these guys out here wearing the same stuff as you. I get it. You don't like these guys out here competing for your makeup. Okay, great. We understand. What are you doing a whole lot?
Oh, bro, take that off.
Complaining about these guys not want to take care of you, not spending money, when they have never seen a man buy his wife something. They've never seen a man.
I couldn't even wear that if I wanted to, man.
Because their mama been coddling their whole
meat
life.
would be hanging out
That's
the bottom.
One thing. And I'm not disrespecting what I'm
It's
saying.
crazy
But
work.
if your son see you working, giving him money and things like that, okay, he might be a hardworking young man, but he's not gonna know what it's like to get up, take care of a wife, get up, take care of kids, get up and be a man and be a role model, as well as he would do it if he saw a man doing it. How to react in certain situations, how to behave in certain situations.
Okay.
If he doesn't see that, there's no way he can do it. So guys, what do you think?
Okay, for sure. I see it. I can understand. Well, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like the video, sub up, comment up, benches, channel on layout, bro. I appreciate y'all, bro. I'm grateful for y'all, bro. We gone, man. Edit live, boy. Oh.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate will teach you to code in R, to code in SQL, data visualization, and learning how to problem
this shit out of here.
Do you see yourself getting married to a woman again, or is it more of just a life partner thing from this point going forward?
Ashton Genty running motherfuckers over.
If you look at all the numbers, if you look at a lot of the statistics, what it says is that men report higher levels of happiness when they're in a good marriage. Men report higher levels of income when they're in marriage, period. Meaning, I think they get like a 15 to 16% more. They're able to work longer hours. They have like a overall better quality of life.
Oh, we about to have a fantastic conversation here today. I guarantee it. Now, first and foremost, before we get started, you guys looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video, you already know we're going to go with this conversation. But let me start off by saying this, is that way back in 2019, right, when I first started this channel, right, one of my mainstays is that I would do content. We would look at relationship content from all across the internet. And I'd be sitting right next to, the majority of the time, 90% of the time, a lovely young lady. And there was a multitude of ones that would come through and we would just do content together. Then COVID happened, and then I couldn't have another guest come in here. So as I looked across the internet for inspiration, I came across Abba and Preaches, and I had known about them before, but when I really took a look at the way that they did content, I was like, man, these brothers really got something, right? The way that they do commentary, the way that they can make you laugh, right? The stories that they tell within the commentary, super talented, and to watch them years later still have such a strong audience base is a testament to that talent. Nevertheless, though, the title of the video that they uploaded is titled Red Pillar Meets a Normal Man and Can't Believe It. So when they dip down into relationship content, it makes for worthy discussion. So let's get after it. Without further ado.
What's your age?
57.
Are you single?
Yes.
How did that turn out for you?
A marriage and 2 children.
And then divorce.
And then divorce, yeah.
How long was your marriage with your ex-wife?
How do you know?
How would a woman know that you're gonna drop a 10-incher on her if she hasn't even...
What the fuck?
Are you trying to say that magic isn't real? I think it's because your woman has... When you come to Miami, you see the real nature of women. It's not your fault, buddy. About 20 years.
How do you go from having a whole family life to coming back out into the world as a single man?
So the thing I refer to as a ladder of love. People walk up the ladder of love when they're beginning a relationship. They say, oh, I really like you. I'll do this for you. The next person says, oh, if you'll do that for me, then I'll do this for you. If you'll do this for me. Well, I'm not going to do that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to do this for you. And then I'm not going to do this for you.
Yeah.
And then they walk down the ladder of love. And at some point, people reduce themselves to the passion and the love and that chemistry, that oxytocin, that thing that really draws you together. It begins to die. And if you don't have the basis for the relationship things that you love to do together, then eventually you grow apart and you either become people who don't like each other, or you do what we did. You become like a brother and a sister.
Wow. Give a man a round of applause. This is why I often say on the channel, it's so important to hear older men talk about their relationships, right? To talk about their marriages, because oftentimes there's an insight there that often is not unlocked unless you've been into those type of situations. Now, I will also say, like, this ladder of love concept is an interesting one, because within the West, the ladder for men, right? The standards, the expectations, the requirements is long as damn hell. And I would say that because that ladder is more based off of objective things, right? Things that you can measure, versus a woman's ladder, or what she can contribute as love within a relationship, is more subjective things. Femininity, beauty, nurturing, caregiving. The issue is, outside of the standards and expectations of most modern men today, at the end, right? Like, if a divorce was to happen, and it happens in 50% of all cases, the man's ladder is the only one that's in the goddamn equation, or at least most of it. And why? Because those are the things that you can measure, whether it be that he was, had the most amount of income, and the tangible things is what gets divvied up within a family court situation. And my thing is that, listen, if a man understands that going into it, right? If he goes into a marriage not getting a prenup, and he understands that he makes the bulk of this, and if this was to fail, the burden of consequences mostly fall on him, I got no problem with it. My thing is that most of these men sign up for these contracts and they have no damn idea. They go into it for love as opposed to understanding that this is a business decision. But the concept of a growing of a ladder of love and then a retraction based off of certain things that don't get done here and there is why it is pertinent that there is a constant working on from both sides of how you can continue on showing up for each other. Because if not, without the reciprocation, that ish gonna fade. Let's go.
Do you see yourself getting married to a woman again, or is it more of just a life partner thing from this point going forward?
So I haven't married a second time, but I'm looking for a while.
Why even take that risk?
Hey, yo, this is because whenever he talks to people that are single or people that are broken up, he's like, yo, why did you give it up? And when he's with people, are you suffice with this? Like, it's like there's never like a happy sentence, you know what I mean?
So what he normally does is he asks women why they quit on a marriage. And then he asks men why they want to get married. Why not just be a life part? Why not do the high value man? He's actually being consistent. It's because you're not paying attention to the gender.
To the gender. Yeah.
Why even take that risk?
There comes a point in your life when you start asking yourself the question, what am I going to do for the time that I have left? And that's when you start viewing life very differently. You realize that there's a number of days you have left to live, but you want to decide how to make those days really count. I'm not thinking anymore about how to build an empire, because I did that. And so when you...
I was going to say, like, it's interesting because it meets normal man, but I don't think this is this is a normal dude. Listen, dude like this walking around in Miami with the colored goatee, the hat on that low with the Hermes belt on, I bet you he's a multi-millionaire, which is by no stretch of the imagination a normal man. Nevertheless, though, what I find is that in these high-value marriages, it's a lot different than the repercussions or the consequences of a divorce within, if you're middle income, if you're average income. The entrepreneur types generally much more risky in their way of thinking, ergo why they're an entrepreneur. Many have the mindsets of, well, if I lose it, I'm smart enough where I could just build it back up again. But the brother's points about end of life is so important, because no matter the content that we see across the internet, no matter what you're trying to do to avoid or defend,
that's what they're talking
all
about.
of our lives are finite, and the goal is to be as joyous as you can with your time on this planet, because you don't know when this shit gonna end. And if you are closing off so much to the potential of the opportunity, and I'm not even talking about from a marriage perspective, there are a lot of dudes out there that are just like, hey, I'm going my own way, bump these chicks, but you cannot put yourself into a mindset as if they all ain't shit. Yeah, you should raise your standards and requirements of what you tolerate. Like, don't be out here getting yourself wrapped up in a Travis Hunter situation or making some high-value man mistakes like a Shannon Sharp. But an ardent belief that they all ain't shit, while being so defensive and so protective, you will never open yourself up enough for the potential of letting a good one in.
Possibility out there. You think that
I would
there's
say
a
it's like having another
possibility.
producer in the room that knows exactly what your song needs.
I don't want to
is
hear this.
co-producer,
I don't
and
want to hear
it's
this.
Seriously,
I'm not making music no more. Get out my face. I don't want to hear that.
Because they do exist.
Reach up in your life, you say to yourself, what do I want to do? How do I want to give back? Who do I want to teach? Who do I want to mentor? What do I want to leave as my legacy? And then you say to yourself, who do I want to do that with?
When
a man loves a woman.
Yeah. And things don't work out, I think a lot of times people expect a whole bitter outcome. But what people also don't realize is that when divorce happens, men are like 60% more likely to get remarried. Not the women, men. You know, and for all the shit that marriage gets and how much people shit on it online, I realize it's almost exclusively really an online thing. And when men who are divorced are asked about marriage, they speak about it positively. Maybe not their last marriage, but the desire to want to be married is still there.
Yeah,
and
he's not lying.
Most of them do get remarried because as you age, the prospects of a single man are substantially worse than the prospects of a single woman. So online, y'all can live whatever y'all want to live. Y'all can. I'm be with my homies. Your bed full of like male pubes. Congrats. Nobody in real life trying to do this shit.
Let's move in together.
Yeah, folks
Who's
get
doing
families, and then they
Right.
move on. They're not kicking it like
What
that.
they talking about?
Let's move in together with my homie.
Right.
No.
We got like
Who does
topics
that?
covered today
Oh.
regarding why you should never live with your girlfriend. Oh, you could be the biggest, most, I guess, tallest, most
God.
masculine alpha out there. Oh man, can we cuddle? And before you know it, time passes along and you're like, damn, you become I want to say the word cuck, but like you become kind of complacent because
Coconuts in Barbados.
you become like lazy in a way. Which I think is why you should live with your brothers or
bless
live with
him.
someone that's like a man because
Oh, hell no.
Oh, yeah. That's actually crazy. Let's go back for a quick second. Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of
I don't want no commercials. I don't want no rapping or no cap in my rap.
that's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now. When I see Abba and Priest doing content on like Red Pill, right? Like, I always think like it's not Red Pill per se that they have an issue with, right? Because like, for example, one of my friends asked me the other day, and like, am I a Red Pill channel? And the first thing that I always ask now is I say, well, what do you think Red Pill is? You define to me. And generally people don't have an answer for this. And the reason for that is that the definition of Red Pill by most people is determined by the person that is giving the information, right? So when they're doing battle and they call it Red Pillar, it's based off of their dislike of certain content creators. I mean, you guys see my confusion when they talk about this move in with men shit. I don't know what they were talking about. And then to listen to this gentleman say this in the haphazard way that he is saying it helps me understand to a degree of the context of why they say it. Now, there is some validity of some dudes getting into relationships and they all up under their girl and they get softer, right? They start working out as much. They start to get that dad bod, right?
Yeah.
They forego some of their interests and their purpose because they get comfortable. And it's something about being right? Like your buddies, your friends, you go out, you're constantly challenging each other with like creative pursuits or, you know, with your work or your industry. Some of them may have sports hobbies, you know, like, yo, come out boxing with me, da-da-da. But in terms of like forming colonies to move in together, if that was the
I ain't
context
never heard nothing
that
like
he
that
was
before,
saying,
man.
then yeah, I just don't understand. What's this right here?
On a wonderful trip, which you should definitely do, I would suggest you to get a Surfshark VPN changer. Not only is a VPN changer going to allow to change your location of your device, and also the programs that you want to enjoy. Yeah, because you know sometimes you're trying to watch a program from another country and it gives you that message.
What is this man driving? That shit dope.
Oh, the program that you're trying to view is not available in the country that you are in. Well, I'm in
Look
the
like
country
he's
that
in the
I'm
drop
in,
top
and I
Chevelle.
want to watch the content from other countries. What do you want me? I'm a simple man. Surfshark VPN changer allows you to do that.
Cool.
Because you change your location with that. And on top of that, you can put that on any device that you want. Your phone, your computer, your laptop, your tablet. There's no limit. You can also save on your fare.
By the way, shout out to DJI, by the way. I got some of these mics right now, and I put them on me when I'm doing like boxing, sparring, and stuff like that. And the amount of technology, how easy it is today to be a YouTuber, commentator, content creator. Right? Like, this brother's in a drop top with a damn mic on, with the damn rat tail on the end, and you can hear him perfectly. Absolutely insane what technology affords us here today. All right, let's just
Air hugs.
let's just keep on going. Let's
Just
see
as
what else
good.
they got. All right,
Schedule programming.
I can
We will be
understand that.
using
There's
these
some
on the
people that function
cruise.
like that. I don't think that this
Air
guy
hugs.
is inherently wrong. He's not giving up on
These don't need a dead
marriage
cat.
and stuff like that. He didn't
They got
give
them
up
built
on marriage.
in.
The latter, I
Built-in
do.
dead
This makes sense to some people and the way that people view relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how I
And they
view
big.
it, but I get that a lot of, not even some people, a lot of people see it like that. He's not like, these women. No, he's like, no, I'm still looking. I'm good. He's not bitter about
Air
it. It's not
hugs.
really, it's not
you
red pill,
won't.
I would say.
You
He's
just
just
don't
like,
think
yeah,
you
you know
do.
what? It didn't work.
Maybe
It
the
decreased the ladder,
She's
and
got some
then
nice
whatever.
titties.
I'm gonna look for something else.
Stop.
I'm looking for a wife. The complication of a divorce, you can be bitter very quickly.
Listening to this guy, two things. The first part is this young man's like, why would you get remarried? He's thinking about it from the fear standpoint, the outcomes that are negative when you have some
No, he's
wealth
just
and
asking a
you
question.
get divorced. But if you listen to the man who's actually been through it, he don't speak with it with like this tremendous pain or whatever it is. He's looking towards the future and be like, oh, listen, I don't got much time in this world. Like my days are numbered. So what am I here to do? He said, I wanted to mentor. Who do I leave my legacy to? Who do I help? He's not thinking about Hugh Hefner trying to fuck, because that's just not. That shit becomes less and less content and joy as you get older. The only thing this man's focused on is how does he give back. That's his words. And I identify with that because even in me in my 30s, I've already waned off of that shit so much. It's generally dudes who have some level of dysfunction in their life who are still on that like, fuck bitches, get money up. That's it. So it's just, when you listen to him, you can tell that he's ready to assume
Crazy as fuck.
responsibilities and to really be a leader in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of men on a smaller scale as they get older identify with that. And I commend that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it shows a lot of maturity. And I also want to give a bit of credit to the guy who's doing the interview. You know, we shit on him all the time because he does these interviews. He's always kind of goofy, and he's a goofy person. But here he
There's
is,
other content
not being biased and hiding this kind of interview. It's like, you know what?
Yeah, he's
Even
just
though this
asking
goes
a
against the
question.
narrative that I have, let me just put it out there. And that's worth commending. And the last thing I'll say is, I understand the point of marriage is to be together forever, but that doesn't always happen. And I personally don't think that it's necessarily failure. Me personally. I know other people have a different view of it, but I could imagine plenty of scenarios where I'm potentially married with somebody for 20 years. You have all these happy marriages, you birth beautiful children, they will grow up to be great people. Your ex-wife helped shape them in a lot of good ways, but you guys fall apart. Is that a failure? I don't know. I put that question to you guys. Would you guys inherently see that as a failure if you could imagine in those 20 years how many happy memories, how many great things, and see your partner reflected in your kids and being proud of your children? Is that necessarily a failure? I asked the question to you.
I saw
fantastic question. And I think, like, again, thinking about the young man in Miami, and I'm saying young man, but, you know, he's obviously a little bit older, might be in his 60s, but listening to the way that he articulates that answer, and, you know, I understand what Abba is saying right here, but what's interesting is that I think that he's commending the RP YouTuber, if he would describe himself that way, but he's commending him for showing some content and asking these questions, and it shows a different outcome than what generally the outcome is during these interviews. And he's commending the young man for showing that even though at the same time they are reacting to this one guy's unique circumstance, they don't react to guys' circumstances who say that they will never get married. So it's like they, Abba and Preach, are currently not reacting to the other side of the coin where men say vehemently, I will never, ever get married again. So it's kind of like you're commending him for something that generally, and I don't know, I don't look at all of their content nowadays, but let's just take it from a numbers perspective. Last year, in 2024, over 900,000 women initiated divorce against their husband, all right? Within that same time, 300,000 men initiated divorce within that same exact time. Now, of the aggregate of those two numbers, we can say 60-ish% of those men will get eventually remarried again. That 60-ish% is not a 90-ish%. There's a lot of dudes out there that are like, I am never going to do this again. And they have the horror stories to boot. My thing is that give the people on the platforms both sides of the coin. Give them the good as well as the bad so that they can learn from the situations or the mistakes that are being made. And so that with that, they can do enough damage to maybe not make those mistakes from these other situations going into the future. But to me, it's really about the stage of life when all of this happens, right? If you're like the brother that they're interviewing, he already has a successful business, right? Already has a certain level of stability, has already multiple years in a marriage and has kids, right? Like, so he can lead with a much calmer mindset, but there's a lot others that don't have this conclusion. And it's okay. We could talk about the men that want to get remarried and the reasons why. And I love that man's answer. Life is only but so finite. And even as I just turned 40, it's something, and actually watching my father pass away 2 years ago, it is something that I think about each and every day, how finite that my life is. So I intimately understand the reality of the finiteness. Is that a word?
Finiteness. No,
Life
it's
moves
not quite a
fast,
word.
especially with a family like ours. Sometimes things break. That's why we choose Zenni. Frames for every mood, every look, every moment. At prices that won't break the bank. Zenni.
Get out of here.
Finiteness of our lives, all right? But it's equipping those with the knowledge, baby. It's not to scare away completely, but to equip with the knowledge. Most people, or most men, don't even understand the benefits of utilizing a prenup prior to a marriage, and they allow the government to write their marriage contract. The government, like, they're known for doing things fair, right? The same government that created that wonderful institution we all know as the DMV. You been into the DMV lately? It's better now than it's ever been. But you've been going to the DMV in the early 2000s and the 90s, baby. You'll be there for 3 days trying to figure out what the hell is going on, all right? Knowledge is power at the end of the day. That's what I'm trying to get to. Let's keep going.
Video about a basketball player.
Okay.
And it was always the same journalist that was asking him the same question. He was kind of sick and tired of it.
Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. You asked me the same question last year, Eric.
And his response was good because they didn't have a good game. And the journalist was always referring to whatever he didn't have a good game as a failure. And he's like, yo, you're always talking to me about this failure stuff. What are you talking about? So I should throw the whole thing in the trash?
Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No.
We're gonna discard everything. We're gonna discard the whole relationship. That's where you have to quantify the bitterness that you have in the relationship. You have to look back and look at the positive sides of it. Even some people that I fell out with, I could still see like
the positives of the
good
relationship.
Moments. That person being covered is a bitch ass nigga, but like we had some good times. We can't go against that. I would not call the whole thing a failure, but there's certainly some things that made it fail. Yes, definitely. So this whole thing about the whole marriage is a failure or marriage is not good. Hey, something happened, it didn't work out, and then that's it. But I'm not.
But also too, we don't know the guy's situation. I love to be able to interview that guy on the street to ask him more about the situation. Well, what happened after the divorce? What was the revenue split, right? Like, what did you make? Because dudes like that got Bitcoin keys with all of their goddamn wealth on it. You heard? Because they ain't dumb. They smart with it, all right? Now, there's other dudes who get their shirt. You know what I think about sometimes? Tyrese, baby. Damn, that whole Tyrese. What more do you want from me?
Right.
I don't know if Tyrese can look back on that entire situation and the lawyer's still knocking on his door, still charging whatever tens of thousands of dollars per month in order to extract funds for him to fund the ex-wife's lifestyle. I don't know if he would agree with this. You know what I'm saying? It just depends from situation to situation. I'm just saying the knowledge is power, and don't become blind. Because although preachers saying, there could be good things in a relationship. Yeah, but at the end of that relationship with that friend, was there a judge with a gavel? Was there a judge and a gavel within a state-sponsored system that is known for not protecting you because you have balls between your legs? Was that the case? Again, knowledge is power. That's what I'm trying to leave you guys with, all right?
Not ready to discard this whole thing or the whole career or the whole path that you went through. There's some rough patches, and sometimes the rough patches make it end. There was some rough, but it was good.
It was good?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the mature way to kind of look. I'm not saying every marriage and every divorce is good, or but I'm just trying to say that these periods where things don't end the way that we wanted is not necessarily a failure. And branding it as such, I think, is just sad a little bit. And it sounds like that's not how he views it either. Because he speaks about her. He says, listen, we just went from being husband and wife to like brother and sister and best friends. We just don't have that romantic feelings. Is that a failure? I don't know. I think to me, I wouldn't view that personally. Of course, I'm speaking on the outside looking in. Yeah. But me just listening to him and what he's saying, it doesn't sound like he views it as a failure.
I don't think it's a failure. I think it's a success.
Yeah.
If you become friends and you're still
got to interview dudes like that.
Buddies, you understand that this is not your partner. You're able to laugh it out and just be like, hey, what up? Mm-hmm. We went from this to that, and it's fine, it's cool, but we're still cool. There ain't no feelings that are hurt. That's cool. I don't think it's a failure.
Yeah, and online, you know, we used to live in a world where marriage was just glorified and made this like perfect sanctimonious thing you could never.
Yeah.
And then, you know, men came along in the more recent time and starting to speak aside of the downsides and some of the really horror stories that happen to dudes in regards to like how they're cleaned out by their wives or whatever. And that was also okay. But now we've gone to this place now where we've gone to the other extreme and just made some marriage like the worst thing in the world. And the reality is, like, if you look at all the numbers, if you look at a lot of the statistics, what it says is that men report higher levels of happiness when they're in a good marriage. Men report higher levels of income when they're in marriage, period. Meaning, I think they get like a 15 to 16% more. They're able to work longer hours. They have like a overall better quality of life. It's much more stable for the kids. And so when you think about all these things, these are also worth mentioning in the context. I'm not here to say marriage is the best or the greatest. I'm not trying to say none of that. I'm just trying to put a little bit more balance in discussion because guys like this interviewer want to make marriage seem like it's just horrible and flat out dead, and it's just understand the risks, understand some of the downsides,
Maybe
and
he's
then
seen
make
more
the decision
content
accordingly. But we have to be honest about what it is. And this guy, he has everything to lose. And what does he say? I want to be remarried. Ask yourselves, why are so many of these men in their 50s, going into their 60s, why do so many of them say, I would do it again if I could?
That's because that's a partner.
Well, it's simply because, you know, again, life is finite, and, you know, people don't want to be alone. And I get it. They don't want to die alone. And it's way easier to say that when your ex doesn't take half your shit, you know, your house, your car, got you on alimony, right? It's a lot easier to be able to say that. Again, we're all on the outside looking in, so we don't know his particular situation, right? If the kids were impacted, affected, it sounds like the kids were over 18 when they decided to do a divorce, so it wasn't like a custody situation, right? And then also how much that you have to restart your life back up again, right? If you're in a 9-to-5 corporate position and you're on a salary, a fixed salary, right? That restart might be a lot different than if you're an entrepreneur and you could just hit it big one month and you could be cruising for a little bit. Or could be a lot different if you lose for the next year and a half, even after the divorce, right? Like, it could be a lot different depending on situation to situation, you know, but that's also why I talk to men about safeguarding, right? Knowing enough information, having enough financial foundation, right? How is it that you structure out your businesses? How is it that you protect yourself from a liability perspective, right? How do you create an irrevocable trust, right? What money should you be putting in offshore, right? Like cold storage, Bitcoin wallets and shit. Like, you got to understand how the world works, baby. If you getting married, right, and you're tying your assets, your business, right, to another person, then you have to understand how the world works before it is that you be able to do that, and also understand what is the likelihood of this lasting for a long length of time. What are the behaviors, the characteristics within her? What are my own behaviors and characteristics? What is my own nature? And understanding how it is that we need to work well together. What are the roles? Do we agree politically, religiously? Do we agree on the foundations of household, how to rear children? It's so complicated, right? But it's like men have not had a place to facilitate these discussions and to talk through it about the negativity in regards to it. But, you know, Abba has a fair point to say that, you know, there could be so much negative content geared towards that angle or that lens that then you are forever in protection or defensive mode. Let's listen to a little bit more. I think we got the main points out, but let's listen to a little bit more.
It's a life partner. I mean, my girl hates when I call her a partner and slap her on the butt because she says, I don't play baseball partner with you. I'm your girl.
I agree with her.
Love me. All right, whatever.
I got
rude. But
I agree with her, preach.
You're still a partner.
I mean, you said rude, but
what up, partner? Pow. Yo, I don't play baseball with you.
Hey, put a little comment for Bart for his girl.
Yo, what you doing
for your wife?
wife,
For your
calm down. You're too happy about this shit.
Put some respect on my name,
dude. You're too happy about this shit. Shut up.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Shut up.
Okay. They're probably gonna crack jokes for the next couple of minutes, guys. I'll leave a link to this video down in the description box down below. Feel free to go check it out without my commentary. I know I talked a lot on this one, and now that I've gone over it, I kind of feel like this should have been a live stream. All right, we should have these live stream discussions. I'll bring you guys up. Let's interface in regards to some of the content as we see it existing within the space today. Brothers, listen to me and listen very clearly. Marriage, contrary to popular belief, is not just about love. It's a business contract. And God forbid you allow the government to create that goddamn contract. You heard? In this country, the contract is structured in a way where usually, more often than not, especially through the longer ladder, right, the tangible things that men are tasked with, even in modern society today, to build, it is the highest cost to us when it fails. If you choose marriage, go in with your eyes wide the hell open. You must understand her nature, but also you must understand your own nature and not have it be created or crafted or lied to you about by the media, feminism, right? Marketing of these big brands and these advertisers, or even a goddamn government, all right?
I don't need that final monologue. I ain't even gonna flex you.
We're here in Atlanta on the
Love you
Beltline
to
at
death,
what
big
will be
dog.
our
but
third
shit.
post company location.
We're right in the middle of construction right now, but we're at that critical stage where some of the beautiful details are really starting to come together.
All three of the...
They talking about, get the fuck out of my face.
Well, the Golden State is
What's
the
going on,
gold
y'all, man?
standard in
Everybody,
a lot
man,
of
make
things.
sure y'all hit the like
Rampant
or subscribe
crime,
button, man.
homelessness,
Follow me on
skyrocketing cost of
TikTok,
living, and a
Kick,
governor
Twitch, all
determined to
that
stick
bullshit.
it to the president however he can. They're now also the gold standard in unemployment.
Year is 1958, and my grandmother had
Okay,
a tough
O'Shea.
decision to make. Should she stay in Robeline, Louisiana, or should she leave? She was recently divorced and had 5 kids, so she decided the best thing for her future was to move to Los Angeles. Now, in her case, it wasn't such a bad decision because one of her sisters had already made the move. She felt confident that her and her family could basically move in and resettle. And Los Angeles provided a lot of opportunities for the Negro at that time, or Black Americans as we call them today. Number one, Los Angeles had a growing industrial base,
Okay.
just like many cities across the nation, but particularly Los Angeles, as well as shipyards, even in Oakland. Many people got jobs during that time in Oakland as well. These jobs beat the
Not really a
agricultural
baddie,
or
but
tenant
okay.
farmer jobs that most of our ancestors had in that time.
Color
Two,
coordination.
no more Jim Crow or racial segregation, although they would also meet that. And 3, most people came to California because of the military base, right? If you know anything about Sacramento, there was Lockheed in LA, Douglas Aircraft, shipbuilding, obviously the weather. But then you had newspapers that talked about all of the opportunities that were in the Midwest or out West. Publications like the Chicago Defender, but then the California Eagle, which was founded in 1879, and it was very influential for African-American migrants considering California. And obviously, we know what happened with the redlining and many blacks coming to California and setting up shop. But we saw the building of black communities like East Oakland, West Oakland, Leimert Park, South Central, Compton, then of course San Francisco, with neighborhoods like Fillmore, Hunters Point, and of course Lakeview. But in the last 20 to 30 years, something is going on in California.
But the real problem is too much regulation, and taxes are just too darn high in California. That's what's driving companies out. And it's also the quality of life. My goodness. I mean, you have all of this homelessness in San Francisco and Los Angeles and crime to worry about, influx of illegal aliens. I've had enough of this. So people are leaving, businesses are leaving, primarily taxes being way too high, the cost of living's too high, real estate's too high, in large part because of
And
regulations.
this is happening
Good
in
luck.
Atlanta too. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Now, everything
As
is
you've
getting way
heard,
too goddamn
the gentleman
expensive.
is making some really good
A lot
points.
of folks is getting the hell on.
Taxes, homelessness, crime, migrant influx, a lot of the businesses, and cost of living are pushing people outside of California, not just black people. But wait, there's more.
This house, that'll cost you $9,000 a month. California's population is going down. Last year, 275,000 people left. That's equivalent to half the population of Wyoming.
Now, those prices are ridiculous in Southern California. Now, at the time that I was growing up in Sacramento, we would have people selling their houses, let's say, for example, in Oakland or Los Angeles, and moving to Sacramento where it was much cheaper, or moving to Fresno. This was an awesome strategy because they could take the money and profit from their old house in Oakland,
Right.
go to Sacramento and buy cheaper, and it would still make about 95% or even 100% of their salary they made in the Bay Area or in Los Angeles. But now those things are starting to get worse. Not only are you able to just like sell your house in Southern California and move up to Northern California as quickly as you used to be, because now the jobs are not paying what they used to pay. And again, the cost of goods and services are getting just extremely too high. And that is a problem. But as you heard, California right now has 5.5% unemployment in the state.
5.5%.
And who would you believe that would affect the most? You guessed it, the black community. We've already heard that black women have lost over 300,000 jobs. So if you look at that unemployment gap, you must understand that black people are most likely affected the most, including black women. But there's something else also going on in the state.
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, once a place built for and by black folks, is now run by a Mexican woman who is also the COO. Most of the staff cooking the food aren't black. That's not just a staffing change, it's a symbol. Because when the ownership, the narrative, and the profit leaves the hands of the people who created it, that's not cultural growth. That's cultural displacement.
California has been home to a whole bunch of stuff that black Americans have created. Look at your legendary places like Leimert Park or Inglewood or establishments like Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. What has happened in California in many places is that now the Hispanics own Roscoe's, right? And now who do you have making the food there? Well, you have Hispanics cooking the dishes. And this is just not what's going on in just LA. It was happening even in the 90s. There was a restaurant called Jimmy's, okay? And it's on Grand Avenue. If you guys know about Jimmy's, it was across from 3B's. It used to be Heights Hair Fashion. The York family used to own that. Mark York and his dad used to own it. It was right by Allen Chapel, AME. Jimmy used to cook, some really, really good soul food. Unfortunately, he passed. Once he passed, you had an Asian family that bought Jimmy's. But what they did was they didn't change the name. They just kept the menu. And so you had these Asians cooking black people soul food. And to be honest, it wasn't really that good. It wasn't as good as it was with Jimmy's. But people were just supporting and kept going. And that's a trend that we see in the black community. That the black community owned businesses in the original soul of the businesses is now gone away. Now, it's one thing to blame the Hispanics or the Chinese for that, or even in Harlem, I've heard about Dominican barbershops coming into the black community and taking over your historical black American barbershops. In the case of this is our fault, all right? If we're losing our businesses to outsiders, it's because we
ain't out there taking care of our business.
It's something that we've always done. It's something that we can't blame anybody else but for ourselves, all right? We've done this a lot. It's happened in almost every black community, and other people are starting to realize it, and that's the case. And partly, that is our fault, right? We got to do better. But this next thing is interesting because California, we are pretty good at electing black leadership to represent us, just like any other place. I'm a California myself. Look at Chicago. Chicago has Brandon Johnson as their mayor, all right? And so when you look at Brandon Johnson,
come through
he's
and
black,
he
he has a black wife. You elect Brandon Johnson as your mayor only because you believe that Brandon Johnson wants to behave in your best interest. Once he gets elected, however, something is different. This is the case with Karen Bass. Karen Bass definitely looks black American, all right, even though she was married to somebody that was a Latino. But when she wants to come out and vote, she appeals to the black American side of her identity, all right? But as it turns out, she has a Hispanic grandfather. But she will come out and she will basically show the world like, hey, I'm a black American. I'm the first black American female mayor of Los Angeles. But there's a problem.
Instead, she centers herself squarely in the black community, presenting as a foundational black leader from South LA. And that raises hard questions. If her Mexican heritage is real and personal, why isn't it more present when she campaigns? And if she owes her political rise to black communities, black churches, black voters, black movements, why do her policies so often prioritize other groups?
I want to give a shout out to Scope News. He has a video called "There Are Barely Any Black People Left in California," and he makes a strong point here that basically one of the reasons why blacks are declining is because the people that we select to represent us obviously don't have our backs. This is the case with a lot of black Democratic leadership all over the country. We see it in New York City. We see it in Boston. We see it also in California. The people that we are looking to support us, they don't. Their interests are to other groups. So what happens is, if you're a person and you're for immigrants or for the migrants and you're giving tax dollars to migrants, but you're basically saying is, F you, the black Americans who are already at the bottom of society. This is another actual point. There's a brother named Web Rats on TikTok. He's a brother that left Maryland, okay? And he now lives in Panama. But he makes a very interesting point about living overseas.
Some people place that estimate as high as 69%. If you're African American in America, that estimate goes as high as 76%. So black Americans have less money than your average non-wealthy American. That means it costs more money for black people to live abroad. The reason why is because people see Americans as an opportunity to raise the prices usually. When they see Americans coming, that price could go from $50 to $100. Doesn't matter if you came to that country with $50,000 or $10,000. The price just went from $50 to $100 and you're paying that.
I want to bring up the reason why this is important. Number one, although he's not from California, but he's talking about something that's interesting. If you live in America and you don't earn a lot of money, and black Americans typically don't earn as much as other groups, once gentrification comes into your neighborhood, or once things start to rise, your spending power evaporates, okay?
Mhm.
And California has a hell of a sales tax. So what costs you
hell of a sales tax.
$50, it really hurts you if your income isn't going up, if taxes isn't going up, and all of the unaffordable things start happening around you. And that's exactly what happens in California, okay? And so what you found out is that it hurts them more than anybody else to stay afloat. And many people believe that the exodus of black Americans is on purpose. And this is why you see so many black Californians going to certain places. Like one of the biggest places that a lot of black Californians move to is Nevada, right? Especially brothers and sisters from LA.
Take what you do best and create a website that's
I'm not
worthy
taking
of
nothing
it.
besides the skip button.
Brothers
Get
and
on
sisters
my
from
face.
LA moved to
Fuck you
Nevada
talking
because there's
about?
like no state sales tax there. At a time, you know, Nevada is very close in proximity to LA. Okay. Some blacks from Northern California may move there. You find a lot of blacks now in Arizona. I think Arizona is also very similar with the sales tax, right? So it's close. The weather is comparable. It's close enough to Cali. All right. Then you see blacks moving to Texas. Okay. Texas is another one of those states that is, is huge, a lot of economic opportunity. You see that Florida, right? And then obviously the Georgia move with the Atlanta. Let's go back to California. A lot of the jobs are leaving the state. Okay. And so these jobs are going to places like Texas where it's cheaper to live. And then also you're making comparable money. So then what do? You're going to go there. And that's another thing I want to talk about. A lot of black Americans are moving to the South. Look at how some of the states in the South are wanting to compete. Look at Mississippi.
Stop
Mississippi
moving
just
down
came
here,
out
yo.
with, I believe, not too long ago,
Please.
0% state tax. All right, so Mississippi,
Wait, Mississippi got 0%
who's already
state
like
tax?
one of the poorest states in the union, is saying, look, we're going to reduce state
no.
tax to 0. All right, please come to Mississippi, develop Mississippi, create your opportunities in Mississippi. And so now the South is starting to compete for these black
Yeah, they talking
Americans,
about doing
if they're
a 0%,
talented, to say, hey,
property
come live
tax
your
out
life
here in
down
Atlanta.
here
I
where
hope
you can
they
do
do.
so. And the
hope they do.
reality is that because blacks are just kind of being pushed out because of what's happening, and then with the immigration and the poor running of the state by Governor Newsom, it's sad, right? And the black identity is pretty much left. Like when I was last back home, when I was growing up in the 90s in Del Paso Heights, it was a lot of blacks in Del Paso Heights, right? And it still is. But It's not like that anymore. You see a lot of Hmongs, Asian people, a lot of Laos, a lot of Hispanics. When we sold our house, we sold it to not a black person, a Hispanic person. You see Russians coming in. I mean, it's crazy. The exodus is sad. And the thing is, it's eliminating part of our history and part of our culture. But a part of that was us not being prepared for it. And so now, you know, places like North Carolina, that has a big banking industry, blacks are going back down south. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shitty Jackson.
Yeah, they coming down here, all right.
That's alert. We drunk.
Every time I meet somebody that's the fuck is an Explorer doing on a Jubilee bracelet? The fuck? Yeah. Whenever I meet somebody out here now, they're never from out here. They always be
I know back to school shopping will have some of you all stressed about money, but here's the thing. On Sunday, August 24th, we're about to bless hundreds of families. My personal barber, Way Too Sharp Barbershop, and AO Enterprise, myself, are giving away free fresh haircuts for kids.
Literally, folks be from all over the place, man. Mostly West Coast. I mean, I know I came from the West Coast because of better opportunities out here, man. And I was a young ass kid. My mom just wanted to stretch some money. But a lot of times it's mostly folks from the West Coast and folks from up north moving out here to Atlanta, raising the fuck out of damn property prices. Not even gonna flex you up, man. But you know, hey, it is what it is, man. They doing the exact same thing I did, man. They're doing everything they can to make their situation better. But
I want to be real with you. Your kids deserve to walk into
the definitely making shit a little bit more expensive than it used to be for no reason.
Don't let them start unprepared when we're literally handing out for free everything they need to get started. We want to help you. We want to be a blessing. So bring your kids, tell your friends and family, and let's show up as a community on August 24th. Let's have some fun. Let's get some fresh haircuts and start this school year off correct. I'll see you all August 24th at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Check the show notes for the address again. God bless. While everyone's arguing about politics, there's something happening with money that's about to change everything for regular working people. You're going to miss the biggest opportunity possibly to build wealth with what we've seen in the last few years. I brought in my brother to help you understand what can you do specifically with your money right now to turn this into real wealth in the long term. Tariffs revenue has actually gone up 300% this
year. What you talking about, AO?
We're talking about $300 billion of revenue
back-to-back, AO.
that wasn't there before.
Fix
They're
this,
running
man.
prices up and they trying to make it seem like they're doing you a favor by throwing you checks. And we gotta be able to pick the game into play. Inflation is going up. So if you're not investing, your $100 is worth less than it was worth last year. So you're losing money. Your financial breakthrough is there. It could be your income need to be higher, or it could be your expenses need to be lower.
This isn't just about a $600 check, allegedly. This is about a complete shift in how Americans can fund itself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an AI, but I'm here to talk apps. Real apps you can build in minutes with Base 44. This finance app solves your business headaches. Track.
While everyone's arguing about politics, there's something happening with money that's about to change everything for regular working people. And I mean this literally everything. You see, Trump just announced the $600 check coming to Americans. Yes, to you. But here's the thing most people don't understand. This isn't 2020 all over again. This is completely different. And if you don't understand what's really happening, you're going to miss the biggest opportunity possibly to build wealth.
Feeling like it's a little bit of like that $1,200 check he had gave us before.
I've been studying this for weeks,
a little bit
and what I
more,
discovered is going to blow your mind. You see, in 2020, the government printed money out of thin air, sent you checks,
I'm about to go get this coffee
and then
real quick,
paid. No, I can't say then paid. Then you paid for it in inflation. Actually, we all paid for it in inflation.
Man, y'all hit
but this time,
the like button.
this money
y'all can send a comment.
is coming from somewhere completely different. And here's what gets me somewhat excited, but also to on the other side, not so excited. While rich people, wealthy people are quietly positioning themselves to benefit from these changes, regular people like you and me can do the exact same thing. But you got to understand the game first. So today, Courtney and I, our investing expert, is going to be breaking down exactly what's happening, where the money is really coming from, and most importantly, I brought in my brother to help you understand what can you do specifically with your money right now to turn this into real wealth in the long term. Not just spend it and be broke again, but actually build something, do something with this money. So let me break this down real quick before we bring Courtney on. You see, back in 2020, here's what happened. And I want you to follow the trail of the money with me. The Federal Reserve printed trillions of dollars, gave it to the government, and the government sent you 1,200, 600, whatever. But guess what? You paid for those checks through inflation. Your groceries went up, your gas went up. Every single thing went up. That was you paying for your own stimulus check. But this $600 check, somewhat a different game, supposedly. Allegedly. This money is coming from tariffs. That's taxes on goods coming into America. And here's the crazy part. Tariffs revenue has actually gone up 300% this year. We're talking about $300 billion in revenue that wasn't there before. Now, here's what most people mess up. They're thinking, great, free money. Let me go spend it. But listen, that's honestly broke people language, all right? Wealthy people, they're looking at this and saying, you know what, how do I position myself to benefit from the entire system change that's happening? Because here's what's really happening. This isn't just about a $600 check, allegedly. This is about a complete shift in how Americans can fund itself. And when systems change like this, there's always winners and there's gonna always be some losers in the market. So the companies that benefit from these tariffs, their stocks could explode, but that sector could hurt. You might want to avoid the companies that will hurt. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. All right. So I called my brother Courtney and I said, bro, you got to come back on. And I'm always doing research to make sure that we utilize his wisdom and knowledge effectively while he is here with us. He is a thought leader and he is a host of his brand new show called the Everyday Investor Show that we're going to put that information inside of today's show notes. And I want each and every single one of you all to go subscribe to the channel. He already put out a couple of videos and he's going to be putting out more to teach everyday people how to become every single day investors. Because while I'm teaching you how to understand what's happening and how to get out of debt, you need someone who lives and breathes investment to show you exactly how to position your money. Whether you got $600, $500, $6,000, or even $60,000, you need this information. Let's be honest. Most people are stressed and stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle because they were never taught how money actually works. That is exactly why I built this channel. Every week, my team and I are breaking down how to master your money, how to get out of debt, save, invest, and build wealth without borrowing a dime. No fluff, no hype, just real money talk that actually helps you win financially. You see, because money impacts every aspect of our lives, our peace, our relationships, and even our future. If you don't take control of it, it will control you. And if you're tired of just surviving and you're ready to build wealth God's way, you're in the right place. Over 900,000 people have already subscribed to our YouTube channel with over millions of downloads on our Apple and Spotify podcasts. Now, when we hit 1 million on YouTube, we're giving away $30,000 to help you get out of debt and to start building legacy. So listen, don't just watch. Hit that subscribe, family. Join this community. Let's build real wealth. Let's build real financial freedom together. It's your boy. Hit that subscribe. Let's get back to the show. Yo,
New cup of
Courtney,
coffee.
welcome back, man.
What's good, man? Appreciate you having me.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. We're gonna stop it right there. We can just talk real quick. If y'all don't know who AO is, he used to be one of the co-hosts over on the Dave Ramsey show. Apparently something went down with him and Dave Ramsey and they had a misunderstanding of ideologies. And AO ended up coming here. And he does financial understanding that pertains to the Black populace. It's not like he's out here doing anything. He's not reinventing the wheel, but he is definitely out here showing us different in a way that we can understand. We, as in folks of the minority. You know what I mean? He's very proven. He's very proven. So let's see what's going on.
Hey man, I'm trying to be like you, Doc. I'm trying to be like you. I sent you this article a couple of days ago, right? When you saw this article, thinking about the everyday investor, what first came to mind when you first read it?
Hey man, for my everyday people, man, I'm like, listen, we can't let these people trick us. No, you gotta know what's going on,
Facts.
man. Like,
Facts.
you gotta be able to peep the game in the whole play. So imagine going into, I don't know, electronics store.
Right.
Right, and the surround sound system that you're looking for is $1,000.
Right.
All right, you already done peeped it, you done did the shopping, you done been in the store, you done looked at it a couple times.
Yeah.
But then when you go in there to buy it, now it's $1,400. And they say, hey, listen, sign this rebate, scan this QR code, and we're gonna send you $400 back. We did that because we love you. Like, we like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did you a favor.
Yeah.
We're like, nah, man, it's actually, just charge me the regular price.
That's it.
And that's what's happening, man. They running prices up, and they trying to make it seem like they doing you a favor by throwing you checks. And we got to be able to peep the game into play.
So when you look at this, and I didn't send you this question, but if you saying it's a game, we got to peep the play, right? How do we start noticing games before it actually becomes a game at our doorstep?
Yeah, you really got to ask why.
Yeah.
Why is it happening?
Yeah.
Like, in anything, if there's money that's going around, if there's money involved, especially if somebody's saying they doing you a favor, you gotta immediately ask why.
Right.
Why and how. Like, then the numbers that gotta flow. It has to make sense. And so that's the first step. Just ask how and why.
Now, because of this, let's say if it does go through, I think that there will be some companies that will benefit from this, that'll explode from this. From your expertise, could you think of or name 3 specific stocks or sectors that if this was to actually go through, that your everyday investors should be following?
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna answer this in 2 ways, right? So first, I want to answer the question. So, like, industries that are gonna do well, SaaS companies, software as a service.
Okay.
So there's no product, there's no import, there's no manufacturing. Those are all things that are going to be hurt by tariffs. Software, it's just the software. They make it, they license it.
Yeah.
Low overhead, and those are the type of companies we really want to invest in anyway.
Yeah.
But software as a service is going to do well. One product industry that one
software as a service is going to do well no matter where you go
with consumer
it.
Products. And we've talked about this on the show before.
Yeah. Consumer products ain't going nowhere.
The advantage to consumer products is whether stuff good is happening in the economy or stuff is bad in the economy. You still got to wipe your butt.
Yep.
Right? Nobody's cutting that out their budget.
Facts.
All right?
Facts.
So that's a sector that's going to do well. Anything that streams. You think Spotify, you think Netflix, anything that stream. Again, there's no manufacturing, there's no imports, none of that.
Yeah.
Those are gonna always do well. But this is the part that I want us to start thinking about, especially for the everyday investors. We're going to talk about things that we do on the Investing Uncomplicated show to help people out.
Yeah.
This is an area where I really want to help people change the perspective of how we invest.
Yeah.
So when it comes to investing, if during a time where certain industries are going to be negatively impacted, that's actually the time where you want to look for buying opportunities. Right, because the software companies right now, as inflation goes up, as there are more tariffs, the streaming companies, the software companies, they're going to already be doing well. Right. And if you invest right now, you're going to be investing at higher prices. Yes. It's going to cost you more to invest. Yes, so how I want us to start thinking about is like, well, how can we find good investing opportunities through the companies that may be hurting right now? Right. And my whole philosophy is good value on good companies. Right. And so this is where you can find good value. So industries that are going to be hurt are going to be like product industries, automobile industries. These are going to be hurting. Now, I don't typically like a lot of products. I definitely don't like the automobile industry. Right. But when you think about a company like Tesla, for instance. Yep. Okay. So yes, Tesla, as we know it, we look at it as an automobile company. They're much more than that.
Facts.
But they will have challenges in terms of imports. I know they have a lot of manufacturing that does happen in the States, but the stock is hurting right now for a few different reasons. But this can be the type of thing that causes more jobs. They could create good buying opportunities. People talk, you hear people talk a lot about like Nike. I don't like Nike. All right, I like the shoes, not the
brand.
stock.
Yeah.
But there's another apparel company. It's called Own Holdings. I don't know if you've ever seen people. They look like the most comfortable shoes you could ever wear. But they have like an ON on them.
No, I never heard of them.
But it hadn't hit like our culture yet.
Yeah,
it's not like a black hot brand. So even if you think about like what Lululemon was, Lululemon's been around for a while, right?
Yes, yeah.
But just now in terms of like our culture, we're seeing more young black people wear. So OWN is kind of like what Lululemon was 5-7 years ago.
Okay.
But a great company, revenues growing fast, really strong balance sheet, stock.
Another one in that same vein of existence, Ozark Trail. If y'all find some stocks in Ozark Trail, I don't know what their actual stock number or name or whatever like that is, but Ozark Trails. As a person that works in retail, you start to see the trends, and honestly, I've seen a lot more Ozark Trails on men and women than I have seen Lululemon recently. What's another one? The on clouds. Look that up on Google. They hitting everywhere, on clouds, full on retail. I mean, full on apparel, top to bottom. Shoes are the number one seller, but everybody's buying up all they shit. Mark Wahlberg's, what is it? Monarch. Hidden. I can't go a day without seeing at least 5 people with it on, from head to toe. Hat, shirt, pants, shoes, dead ass. If y'all looking for something to put y'all money in, park your money in, and let it rise up, every last one of those will probably be very good if you're in the product or apparel section of investing. Straight up.
Price is going to be down right now because it's a product, right? It's manufactured somewhere else. So finding good value in the midst of the turmoil.
So it's almost like, how do we look into OWN now? And we're going to probably buy it super cheap, may even see it go down a little bit.
Yep.
But we got the stock.
Yep.
But if we're thinking like Lululemon, in the next 5 to 7 years, they'll bounce back. So what I hear you saying for us everyday investors is you buy good value at a good price and you let it sit there and don't expect to get the money back within 2 months.
Exactly.
When it come down to on clouds,
I can't swear at him, man. Probably not.
When it come down to on clouds, I would say you probably got a good 1 to 2 year margin of wait time for that investment to actually show some ROI to it, to be honest with you, because it's been hot for a minute. It's been hot to the point that people in working class use those on cloud shoes at a higher clip than Nike Roshi runners when those were hot in 2014. Dead ass. I'm gonna get me a pair. I've been looking at a pair for a couple years now, and I just haven't done it yet because I'm a Nike boy. You know what I'm saying? I'll wear Nike, and I'm gonna try to wear Nike all the time, no matter what. But at the same time, those hoes are comfortable. They look good. Just saying.
Building credit the traditional way is slow and confusing. And most credit cards want you to
got a
rack
lot of
up
commercials
debt
in this
just
show.
to boost your score. You see, I used to think that you had to choose between staying different. They help you build credit the right star reviews on the App Store, approved for homes, and getting better interest. That credit costs you money. I want you to visit Anthony O'Neill. Puts $500 into OWN this month, and when should they look at the stock again? Like, when should you start seeing an uptick in that stock? Is it a year, 3, 5, 7 years?
Yeah, I think you want to start checking it in about 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, checking it 6 months. I'll give you an example. CrowdStrike, which Which is actually it could be a good time for this one as well. So CrowdStrike, last year they had the whole debacle with the software and the shut down the airports. Their stock price after that happened, it dropped something like 40%. And 6 months after that, 6 to 8 months after that, the stock was up over 100%.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, even if you look at today compared to a year ago, it's down a little bit now, but it's still up over 50% in the last year, right? And so it's finding those moments where there's drama. You know, when I teach people to uncomplicate investing, it's like be a toxic investor, right? Look for the drama.
Yep.
All right, and so when you invest during those moments, it's giving you the value that you need. And that's just one example. Like, I mean, there are several examples we can go through where there has to be a good company. This isn't any company. You can't just look at any company and say, okay, the stock price is down, I'm gonna buy it. It doesn't work like that. It has to be a really good company.
You said something.
Another thing, if y'all gonna do something like that, you want to be a toxic investor. This isn't a proven statement because I'm not an investor at all. But if you look at the trends, and I just did a video about it, what, 2 days ago? The inaccessibility of being able to watch a sport whenever you want to is credence to the idea that online gambling is still at a complete rise. It is rising every day as far as the stockholders go, as far as usage goes. That would in my mind, make sense that you should probably invest in sports betting avenues, right? Because there's going to be an increase of people watching sports, or actually a decrease in people watching sports, but an increase of people actually giving a damn about the stats. When people start looking at stats, they believe that they can actually beat the statisticians, right? And that's going to give you the idea that, man, if I'm looking at these numbers all the time because I can't watch the game, I could probably make money off of that shit. So more people are going to start sports betting because it's more accepted and they're less likely to actually watch the game. So don't put money into the avenues in which you can watch the games like Amazon and all that stuff like that. Put the money into the sports betting realm because more people are going to be doing it inefficiently because they're not able to watch the game. Just our idea.
And I kind of want to go back, and I probably should have asked you this on the very first show we had you on, because I hear this in my head. You know, it's the spiritual side of me. I hear my community saying, wait, telling me to buy low, right? But you mentioned companies like Tesla that everyone knows. And I think they're asking, well, Courtney, why, as strong as a company as Tesla is, why would the stock drop that much? Like, if they're still selling cars, if they're still a good company. So what impacts a company to make their company drop that low, but then it bounces back up? What plays a role in that?
Yeah, so the news, the economic data, and here's the thing, like the stock market, it isn't a very like firm and definitive space. So it's like, if this thing happens, then the result is going to be X amount of percent. We don't know, right? Even the prices that we pay for stocks, they're based off of expectation and perceived value. I was like, you think it's a good company, and because everybody else thinks it's a good company, people buy it, right? So what tends to happen is when the news is bad, because we live in a social media world, we're sensational, we overreact, emotional swings, like this is the space that we live in. And what happens with good companies when there's bad news, there's typically a sensational move in the stock price that causes it to drop. And the drop in the price may not be justifiable by the company's performance. So think about it like this. Think about you've been studying in school and you're studying for every test. You're doing everything that you're supposed to do, right? But because the entire class average is down, you think that your average is down, but then when the report cards actually come out at the end of the quarter, you're like, oh, I'm actually doing better, right? It doesn't matter that the entire class was struggling. I was doing what I was supposed to do, and when report cards come out, we get to see the true value.
That's it. I love that. I had to ask that question because I wanted my people to see and understand that. Because I know when I first got in the stock market, that was my first question. Well, if it's bad, what made it go bad? And are they going to stay bad? But that's just the name of the game. Now, you named 3 companies that like Tesla own, for an example, that may go down and may bounce back up. Could you think of companies or even sectors that we should just stay away altogether from for right now?
Man, the automobile industry is crazy. I just it's not an industry that I like at all.
Gotcha.
It's too volatile.
You know, they talk about tech products, but if I'm not gonna call out any companies to completely stay away from.
Right.
But the automobile industry is definitely one that I would avoid.
Now I gotta ask you this question: we need automobiles.
Yeah, but folks ain't buying automobiles
Like,
all year.
We do. But it's like Honda, good company. You know, that's probably one of the most sold cars in America. That wouldn't be a good. What's the reason why you would say you wouldn't invest into an automobile company like that?
Yeah, because what's going to happen is the demand for vehicles is going to go down. They're not going to sell as many because prices are higher.
Yep.
You know,
because of tariffs and stuff like that.
Exactly, because so the tariffs are going to make automobile parts more expensive.
Yes.
Not only that, I mean, you got to think about it like this, man. You want something that's going to have a continual sale. Yeah, there's going to be about 100,000 people, or maybe 1 million people every single year that's going to buy a brand new car. But how many people are buying a brand new iPhone every time they drop every single year? Just a comparison. Think about it like that. You're only getting a piece of the pie if you're going to go invest into an automotive company, because they're only going to sell X amount of brand new cars, and that's the only way that they're going to have a profit margin where it even means anything to you in the market. But if you like literally invest in like Apple or Google, they make a product every single year, maybe multiple times a year, that somebody's going to buy. Like if I go the Google phones or an Android phone, you know, there's like 5 different Samsung phones that drop every single year. You got the low tier, the low budget, low tier versions. Then you have the mid tier versions. Then you have the Samsung Galaxies, which are the high tier, and they have like 4 of those. You have the folding. You have the tablets. You have the watches. They drop every single year. How many people are going to buy those every single year without fail, upgrade every single year, in comparison to how many people are going to buy a car every single year? That's what your baseline is when you think about trying to invest in something. How many people are going to buy this shit for the amount of time that I'm actually going to have this money parked here? How many times is somebody going to visit this website while I have the money parked here? And that's the easiest way to figure out how to do and hold investments.
And listen, there's great companies around, but they not gonna eat the cost, okay?
Right.
They gonna pass that cost down to the people that's buying the cars.
Yep.
As a result of that, when prices are high, consumers don't pay
buy.
for them, right? They find alternatives.
Make it around.
And what may happen.
When the prices are high, consumers don't buy. Simple as that. And the least amount of consumers that you have per year, or per quarter, which is when the cycle is basically, the less likely you are to have a big dip or big drop or big drop or big peak. Excuse me, peaks in your investment.
Happen is consumers are gonna go like, I'm not gonna buy this new car, right? Because that's how Honda's gonna make their money. It's gonna be off of the new cars.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, let me see if I can find me something that's used and maybe buy that instead. Or they may say prices are too high. I'm just gonna wait a year. You know, I'm gonna try to get another
you miss out on
year
that
out of this
customer
car that I'm
completely for the
driving now.
entire year. Exactly.
And so that's how the automobile industry is impacted. And it's not just tariffs, right? We're looking at a place where jobs aren't as strong, incomes are flat, debt is high. So there are a number of other things that are playing into this economy right now besides just the tariffs.
Let's stay right there because you made a valid point. I've received a lot of emails from people saying, "Hey, yo, I just got laid off," or
this shit out of here.
I maybe not got laid off, but my hours decreased at work. I got 5,000, say for an example, sitting inside of a savings account, but I also have $10,000 in debt. I've been watching the show with you and Courtney. I want to invest. What should that person do with that 5,000? Should they look into buying some stocks and paying off some of the debt? Should they put all that money to buying all the stocks that is at a cheap price right now? What would you advise? I'm curious to that everyday investor.
Man, if this person only has $5,000 and maybe they don't have anything else saved for emergencies or whatever, don't invest that money. That money needs to stay in your high yield savings account, right? Don't be aggressive with your debt because you're out of a job. You don't know how long it's gonna last.
Agreed.
Right? You don't know when it's gonna bounce, when you're gonna bounce back. If anything, I think one investment opportunity that people miss trying to immediately jump into the stock market is investing in themselves. And this may be a moment where you need to develop a new skill so your employability goes up, so that your earnings potential can go up, so that your job security can improve.
Yes.
And so the investment that person may need to make, it isn't necessarily in the stock market. It may be in themselves. But even that needs to be done strategically so you don't blow through your only $5,000 not knowing when you're going to be employed again.
I respect that. I respect that.
I'm sitting here thinking like, no, that's good. And a lot of investors in your particular space won't say, don't invest into the stock market, come off being aggressive on the debt, keep that money in a high yield savings account, but maybe take 1,000 of that and go get into a boot camp or go get some type of education to make you more money, because it does in the long run, it makes you more money.
Makes you more money.
That an investment can't do immediately with that money. That's man. This is why I like Courtney. This is why y'all got to be locked in with Courtney and definitely lock into his show, Everyday Investor. Real quick, I got some more questions, but
and so the show is Investing Uncomplicated.
Okay, but where did Everyday Investor come from?
Because it's for the everyday investor. It's for the everyday investor. We helping your money and the market make sense. It's for the everyday investor. So I'm not messed up with that because it is for the everyday investor.
So the name of the show is called what?
Investing Uncomplicated.
Investing Uncomplicated. Where did I see Everyday Investor at?
You've seen it. We talk about the everyday investor and everything that we do. Everything we talk about the everyday investor. Yeah. So you're not wrong.
I know your fiance over there saying he's saying it wrong, babe. Check him.
Nah. She
I just seen his phone light up. So yeah, somebody was calling his ass telling him.
Gurus. Just like, hold up, that's
you
not
telling
the
your
name
name
of
right.
the show. All right, so Investing Uncomplicated, y'all. We're gonna put that inside of the show notes.
And he is wearing a Datejust Rolex Jubilee bracelet two-tone. Starts off at around $12K.
So
Can't
that
tell
you
the
all can
size
do
yet,
this.
but
Is
it's
it
an
YouTube
older
and
one.
podcast or just
It's an older one. You can tell by how gold the gold is and how silver or the two-tone the steel is. I want to say that that's a steel two-tone, but I can't really tell, to be honest with you. But you can tell by how the gold is that it's not a brand new Rolex. It's not a brand new 2020 whenever. Just you can tell by the gold, because most of the time they treat their gold now with rhodium, so it doesn't have the tarnish ability. It doesn't have the scratch ability. It's a little bit more resistant, and it makes the gold a little duller. It makes it a little bit more, just a little bit more, a little closer towards the traditional 18 karat gold that you see. When you see it looking like that bright Miami gold, where it's real deep colored, that means it's back. That's a 90s. That's a 90s gold, which is less rhodium in it, less added minerals to make it stronger. So he probably has to get that thing serviced a lot more than a regular Rolex owner. Just putting it out there. So he knows what he's talking about. He has to because he has money for enough to for an older
YouTube right now.
Just YouTube right now.
All right, cool. So for my podcast listeners, head over to
And it's a champagne
the
dollar.
to the
Then we can make a
YouTube,
champagne dollar
subscribe
like
to
that.
the channel. I need y'all to do this. Subscribe to the channel. All right, and get this information.
Just putting it out there from the
that
watchmaker's
some of you all got
perspective.
some extra money right now that you do not know what to do with it. Yo, get the information so you can learn how to make some more money.
What's going on, fam? Hey, real quick break from the show. I want to give you the direct link to where you need to go to put that $100 because 2025 is the year that we are going to
He
make
does a lot of
investments,
insane commercials.
and you got to go over and check out.
Why you let your barber do that to your line?
You see, it's 2025 and it's time to
Let
get
your
serious
barber put
about
that shit
growing
all in your
money.
hair,
With
man.
that extra one.
One show a week, every other week. What are you doing?
We're going one a week.
One a week.
One a week.
Do you know you have a consistent day yet, or you just whenever you have time?
We are no. We're trying to figure out the schedule that works best between our production team. You know, it's a new thing, so we're trying to get everybody on the schedule. But we're going once a week, and we're about to pick a day.
Okay.
So we are really excited. It's something new, you know, and so we're gonna pick a day so people know when to expect us, right?
There's so many shows out there, Courtney, that I believe are good shows, but they are for the advanced high dollar individual.
Right.
You said it, your show, saying it right, is for the everyday investor. So does that mean that's for the person who is making $45,000, $50,000 a year? They can come and learn, and if they only got $50, $100, they can learn from you on how to invest that to eventually scale up and get to that intermediate advanced level?
Absolutely. Like here's the great thing about being an everyday investor. It's not even your income that differentiates you from other people. It's about your understanding. It's about what you know. It's a lot of people out here that's making $250,000 a year. I talk to them on a regular. They know nothing about the stock market, and they sitting on $500,000 in multiple savings accounts across 3 or 4 different banks.
Facts.
Right? So it's more so about the understanding, your foundation in terms of the stock market, what you know about
learning
it,
together,
what you
y'all. We
need to
learning
know.
together.
Because there are people out there who talk about, stock options and a whole bunch of stuff, but there are people out here like, I don't need to know stock options.
Facts.
I don't need to know penny stocks. I'm not trying to be a cryptocurrency expert.
Facts.
I just want to know what I can do with my money so that it grows at some point. That's the everyday person. You may be a HVAC tech. You may be a single mom. You may be a single dad. You may be an attorney, right? You may make $150,000 a year. You may make $50,000 a year. But you know that you need to be invested in the stock market, and you're looking for a place to start. And we provide people with that place to start.
Listen, y'all, we're going to drop the show inside the show notes. Go check it out. Go subscribe. That was a shameless plug. Key didn't ask me to do that, but we're trying to get you into black, get you out of the red, into the black, and stay into the black so that your children's children can start in the black. All right, so go subscribe to the show. I did a show about a couple of weeks ago, Courtney, and I was about insurance, car insurance, and I did some research, and I found out that insurance companies, they take our premiums, and whatever doesn't go out in claims, they take the rest of those premiums and they invest them.
Yeah.
And they invest them into bonds.
Just real quick, it's not just insurance companies that do that. If you park money in a bank account for too long, or actually not even for too long, they will do that with your bank account money. That's why it takes them 24 hours to take a large sum out. They have to have heads up. That's why when you try to go do any kind of large purchases, you want to wire the money, you have to go up there and talk to them before you can just wire the money. A lot of times you can. But a lot of times they're going to ask you, oh, okay, yeah, come on in here, man. We're going to do this, and do that. And what they do is they front the money from out their stuff. They say that it's available, and then they scrum up the funds that you actually asked for within the next 6 to 12 hours. And then within the next 12 hours after that is when you actually get the funds. Banks do this too.
Or they invest them into the stock market. Man, when I put that out there, I got so many emails from people saying, what is a bond? What is the difference between a bond and stock? And so I have my answer, but you're the investing expert. Let's educate the people on what is the difference between an actual bond and an actual stock.
Yeah, so a stock is ownership.
And they would stop it right in the middle of breaking it down. They're gonna try to throw off your concentration, y'all. They're gonna try to throw off your concentration.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
A bond is you giving somebody else a loan. Right?
Yep.
A bond is you giving somebody else a loan.
Go back a little bit more.
Let's educate the people on what is the difference between an actual bond and an actual stock.
Yeah, so a stock is ownership, right?
Yep.
A bond is you giving somebody else a loan. It can be a government entity, it could be a corporation, right? Because corporations do bonds.
Yeah.
But you're loaning them money, and in exchange for the loan, they pay you a set amount of interest, 3%, maybe 4%, depending on the risk of the bond. So the safer the bond, the lower the return. So like a treasury bond is going to be the safest bond that you can get. So that's loaning the federal government money.
Yeah.
They're going to pay you 2.5%, 3%.
Yeah.
Then you can do like a corporate bond. They may pay you something higher, maybe like 6%, but it's going to come with a lot more risk. So your money is just earning that percentage
I don't
every
buy
year.
friends.
And you're
Get out of
only
here.
earning money on the initial amount that you started with. So if you invest $1,000 into that bond, they're going to pay you, that 3%. Every single year, $30 from now to 25 years from now.
But on the 1,000, not on the 1,000 and
only on the 1,000, not on any of the growth.
Right.
So that $30 is gonna come in for the next 25 years, okay? And that $1,000 is gonna stay $1,000.
Yeah.
On the flip side, with a stock, you invest $1,000, that $1,000 is gonna grow.
Yes.
And we know that the stock market, we look at the S&P 500 since the beginning of time, has averaged 8 to 10%.
Yes.
So, and that's 8 to 10% on what you started with and what it grows to. So after year one, you've earned a little bit of money, and so in year two, you're earning money on your principal and the growth.
Yes.
And that's what compounding is,
Yeah.
because you're earning money on what you started with and what you've made.
Yeah.
So not only is the growth rate
That's what
higher,
you need to do.
but you have compounding.
Yeah.
And
The
that's
whole
reason
the
why
whole
I
name of the
say-
game, man, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. The whole name of the game is to invest in anything, and that's 401ks, S&P 500s, any stocks, anything that you can put your money into that's going to have a compounding interest. So what compounding is what you're going to get paid for the principal, or you're paying off the principal, right? So you put $500 into that motherfucker, they're going to pay you interest on the $500. When you have compounding interest, what's going to happen is you're going to be paid interest on the 500, and then you're going to subsequently have interest paid on the percent of interest that you have on that 500. So you'll have the 500 is going to be running at an 8%. Who knows, whatever the fuck that number is when you break it down. And then also you're going to get interest on the growth of that 8% off that 500 in perpetuity. So 500 plus your 8% per year. And then you'll also get in compound, in conjunction, however much you're making off that 8% is going to have a percentage compounding on top of that. You feel me? So whatever the number is between 500 and 8% or whatever like that, let's do 100 instead. We'll do 100 instead. So every year you're gonna get $8 off that $100 or whatever like that. But you will also get 8% on whatever the hell your $8 that you had at growth. So compounding is the way you need to go with a lot of these investment opportunities or money parking opportunities. This is the best way to go.
Y'all stay away from bonds. All right.
I was just about to ask you that. When would you say get you a bond? Is there ever a time in your expertise, because you coach people, you would say get a bond?
Yeah, if you get to the point where you're about 5 years to retirement, you don't need your money invested so aggressively.
Yep.
You need to preserve your capital. Yeah. Maybe you still want to make a little bit on it. Yeah. You want to start reallocating your retirement portfolio to some bonds, not all bonds.
Yes.
Now, as you get maybe 2 years from retirement, you could get to a point to where, you're probably 80, 85% bonds eventually, 100%, so you don't lose any money.
Right.
But other than that, man, and this is why, in people's retirement accounts, they have like target date funds, and like people be like 30 years old and they got a target date fund and 10% of their money is in fixed income investments. I'd be like, man, get up out of there. Like, put that money in the market. Because what this space traditionally has been, what investment companies and mutual funds, retirement plan administrators, what they do is they say, hey, I'm going to give you a little bit of growth, but I'm going to keep it conservative so you don't get mad at me. And like, we teaching people like, you're not going to get mad at nobody. You know the cycles of the market. The market going to be up sometimes and the market is going to go down. When the market is down, those best days are coming within 2 weeks of those worst days. And you just going to ride the wave. We teaching you that. People know that now. So the investment companies, you ain't got to be mad at them because you know how this works. Because to your point, that insurance company, they know the cycle of the market.
Know it.
So they just riding the wave. And so if
With
the
your
bank
money.
is riding the wave, the insurance company is
forget that
riding
part,
the
with
wave,
your
the
money.
annuity company is riding the wave. This is how the most wealthy, marketable companies in the country, this is how they make their money. Like, we can do the same thing.
Man, listen, I was talking to my barber, and and I don't trust the stock market, man. I don't trust it. I don't want to lose no money. And I'm like, yo, but that's how the average person thinks, because if all these other bigger institutes are trusting the market, why is the person who makes less money not trusting the market? And still,
Well, the conceptually, because you have less money to lose. The bigger entities can just do this whenever because they're borrowing against money that they doesn't exist to them. There, as you said, insurance companies and banks, they do this reinvesting situation with your money, and they reinvest and they get dividends off of for themselves to in turn pay themselves. You're using your own capital, your own income, and you may not have enough of it to be actually putting out somewhere to where you have to wait on it to grow or not. A lot of times when people are afraid to deal with the stock market is because they saw people dealing with stock options where they ended up losing money and had to pay back. And a lot of folks don't have that kind of money to just be losing continuously. Now, I'm not saying that every stock is going to be a loser, but at the same time, the option for somebody that has a very small margin of actual play around money would not like to be able to would not have that idea that it's okay to just up and lose some bread that I already barely got. You know what I'm saying?
to this day, Courtney, we have a lot of people who just like, I'm scared to lose money. I don't want to lose money, and I get it. Like I feel you, single mom. Like, yo, I work 2 jobs. I have a child. I got children. She's scared to lose that money. How would you encourage her to get over that fear, or maybe use the fear or whatever to get her to become an everyday investor? Because it's a valid concern, especially this. Let me throw this in there for you. That is in there. With inflation possibly coming back up again. Like, she sees what's happening in the world, right? Groceries are still at an all-time high.
High shit.
Gas is still up.
High shit.
I make $3,000 a month. Hey, yo, Courtney, bro, I pay $2,000 a month in bills. Groceries, I got 2 children and my Negroes can eat. So I'm spending $300 just in groceries. Then I got a car note. I got this. So I only have about $400 left of surplus money. And you want me to invest 100 of that? And then tell me I could possibly lose it?
Right.
Nah. What would you say to that individual?
That's exactly what it is.
So let me give this to you.
That's the exact breakdown.
If the fear is that you're going to lose money, I hate to break this to you, but if you don't invest, you're losing. Actually losing money. All right. I'm sorry.
The difference is, I mean, people that actually invest on a daily basis, they're going to see it as a different situation. It's an ROI if you put it in. If you don't, then you're just losing continuously because it's a possibility that you could make on that money. People that don't have any of that and they only got that $400, they're not seeing it as an investment opportunity because it's an opportunity to lose. That's why betting apps. Ooh, excuse me. That's why betting apps are so big. Excuse me. Because it's instant. You lose, you lose. You win, you win. You can pull it out right down on the spot as soon as you win. Period. So, I mean, it's a different world. And if you don't understand the world of the poor or the people that are disenfranchised and don't really have the funds to just say, "Oh, we're gonna lose either way," then you telling me that I'm losing money because I'm not putting something into a risk is already an issue.
To tell you, and it's for the reason that you just mentioned. Inflation is going up. So if you're not investing, your $100 is worth less than it was worth last year. So you're losing money. The one thing that I can tell you.
You see how his two-tone Rolex, it's a date. It looks like that might be just an ultra perpetual OP. It might just be an OP. But he has a two-tone with a Jubilee on it too. You see how his yellow is a little bit duller than AO's yellow on the gold? It's because he has more rhodium in it. Now, with the clasp that he has, he's definitely not in the late 2000s. He's in the early 2000s with his. So around 2005, 6-ish is when they started adding more rhodium into the gold to be a little bit more scratch resistant. But they still had the clasp, the single clasp that doesn't have the damn, I don't even have a watch with it. It's somewhat like this clasp right here. The clasp right here I got, it has a little secure lock on it. Most Rolexes between 2008 and 2020 have those. If you don't have that, then more than likely you're in the early 2000s or the 90s. But because of the way his gold looks, it doesn't look like he's in the 90s. So he could have got that for maybe like 4
In the
bands.
stock market, the only time you lose money is when you take your money out.
Yes, sir.
And you don't give it the opportunity to come back. Yes. You do that, you're gonna lose money.
Yeah.
But if you can be faithful, rely on what's happened in the past, look at the data, invest in good companies. We're telling you like what good companies look like.
Yes.
Right? If you can invest for the long run, you don't lose money. You don't.
You don't.
But then you do also have unrealized capital gains. So if you park money like that, then you're gonna have points in time in which you don't know what the fuck is going on with your money. And that is a scary situation with people that don't have a whole lot of.
But if you
Just
don't
gotta keep that in mind.
I guarantee you are losing money.
I hope y'all hear this. This is what I have on the show. Now, in your words, because I think some people saying, wait. Hey, Courtney, I'm 50. I don't understand this. And I'm confused.
You don't need to
Oh,
stress out
I thought
about
that was
car
Pedro
insurance. Just
Pascal.
phone Surify.
They can help you
I
save
thought it was
money
Pedro.
and headaches.
No spam, no.
Whoa.
I give quote unquote company $100.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day it drops to $60.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that I didn't lose any money.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to them how they didn't lose any money when they see it went down to 60
it's
and they
technically
paid
not a
100.
gain or a loss
They
until
see
you
the
pull the
red
money
and
out.
they see the thing saying loss. But we're telling them, nah, you ain't lose no money. Explain that to them how they didn't lose the money.
Yeah, so you hadn't lost the money because it'll come back in the future. So it went down the next day, but maybe next week it may go up higher.
Yes.
Right? So it's not like you lost the money, it's more like you misplaced the money for a short period of time. Think about like your keys. Say you're looking for your keys.
You lost them.
You lost them. But you know what, like 30 minutes later, like, I found them.
Yeah.
So you didn't lose your keys.
Facts.
They was just out the way for a second.
Bro.
But then you're gonna find them and then you good. They're not lost.
Right.
Now, the only way you lose your keys is that you just leave and you never find them again.
Yes, sir.
You sell that house wherever you live. You never go back there. You just leave it alone completely.
Yeah.
And you just give up on it. That's it. If you just give up on finding them.
Man, listen.
Now, within investing, you know, there will be times where the value of your investment goes down. But it's when it goes down and you don't sell the investment that you have, it's called.
Yeah, that's a two-tone Oyster Perpetual. Definitely from the early 2000s. Definitely early 2000s. Simple. With the simple silver dial. Yeah. Nothing crazy.
An
Love it.
unrealized loss. So it's not real.
I'm
right. It's
to be honest with you, I'm just happy that a lot more black folks are staying on the uncustomized watch game. Stay away from them damn bust downs. Stay away from them. If you want to have a bust down, get you one that's not going to be too expensive and just call it a day. Don't get a Rolex bust down, Patek Philippe bust down, no Cartier bust down, because you're diminishing the value on the return, whether or not you're going to return later on or not. You know how happy you would feel when you go look up the value of a watch that you've had for about 5 years and it's higher than what you had? It's beautiful. The ability to go trade a watch in for a newer watch that you already own for a brand new watch that you never even touched before, it feels good. Comparison to you going up into the to your AP with a bust down whatever the fuck, and they asking you to put money down on top of whatever you already trading in for that bust down watch just to get a plain Jane, and you out here like, why? Because them diamonds don't mean shit. You took away 32 grams of precious metals so you can add these diamonds in here, and you completely destroyed the integrity of the watch.
It's
So
not
I'm happy
real
to see
until
more
you
men out here
sell the
doing the
position.
non-bust
And
downs.
what we teach people is not to sell the position because it's unrealized and it can come back. At the point that you sell it, now it's a real loss.
Man, this is good. Yo, I got to ask this question. I was so heated. I texted you this company called Figma a few days ago, and I was so heated. One of my wealthy friends, he plays for professional football for the Arizona Cardinals, and he texted me. He was like, "Yo, AO, I just made $1 million in a day." I said, "Man, shut the hell up." He was like, "Yeah, I invested into this company 2 years ago that I tried to get you to invest into through a PE firm." And I was like, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be so honest, bro. He asked me to invest into that, and I said no, and I went and bought my truck. What he asked me to invest was nowhere near the cost of my truck. And he invested into that company. The company went public. The first stock was $33. And then it closed the day at $144. And then the next day it went to $133. So it went down if you bought at $144. But he bought in 2 years ago and then bought more stock at $33, made $1 million in a day. These are what my wealthy friends are doing.
Yeah.
I got to ask you this, because I think everybody who is an everyday investor one day wants to become that wealthy guy. Yeah. What are you seeing the wealthy people do during times like when they get this information, like from President, what he just announced, or when they see the stock market? What are you seeing the wealthy individuals do, not do, invest in, not invest in right now?
Man, I think that, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but like wealthy people, man, I literally know there's a guy that was a real estate mentor for me. And he literally used to have conversations with me about waiting for the next recession. And there was a point, there was some years that he was like, "Hey, I think it's coming. So whatever extra cash that you get, set it to the side." And he's a white guy, older white guy, and he knew where I was from, right? He knew I ain't come from a lot of wealth. He knew the neighborhoods that I was from. And he looked at me, he was like, "I know everything that you've heard where you from. I know how this sounds. It's unfortunate that these type of economic situations, families do hurt during these moments."
Yeah, that's fact.
He was like, "But you're an investor.
Yeah.
And as an investor, you make your money when you buy, not when you sell. The best prices that you're gonna get to buy, to make your initial investment, it's gonna come when there's some type of bad news. My whole philosophy of investing during bad news, being a toxic investor, all of that came not from a stock mentor, it actually came from a real estate mentor.
Yeah.
And the same thing just applies to the stock market.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the wealthy people that I know, they are waiting for the buying opportunities. They are waiting for the bad news.
Okay.
Another thing is they not real concerned about temporary economic conditions.
Facts.
You know, they're continuing to invest. They don't stop. They don't get scared. They're consistent. You know, the opportunity that your homeboy had that invested in a startup, that comes from relationships with the right people. We've invested in a couple startups, and I look. My response to your text was, "Lord, I see what you have done, other people, right?" And so we've invested into a couple startups, and I'm hoping that one day I get that opportunity, that celebration. But those opportunities have come through relationships.
Bro.
So everything isn't always just about money. It is about having good relationships and having Look. If my only relationships were with the people from North Nashville, where I'm from, I would have never had the opportunity to invest in some of the startups that I've invested in, some of the real estate, some of the mentors that I've had. You know, I took chances to meet people who were in places that I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't weird about it. You know, like, hey, will you be my mentor? Like, nah, I'm not that type of dude. You know what I'm saying? But I introduce people, I tell them what I'm interested in and how can I follow them? How can I learn more, right? It's like not about us wasting time on some pointless lunch. Is not about us jumping on a weird phone call. Like, these people busy.
Yeah.
You know, like it don't work like that.
Yeah.
You gotta find another way to put yourself in the room, in a position to be a part of the conversation. Maybe it's not asking them for help. Maybe you send them something to help them. You know, like, so that's how you build those relationships. And if you're in the right place, if you've built the right relations, people will tell you opportunities that come up. And then the next part becomes you got to do the research to make sure it's an investment that makes sense for you.
Bro, I cried. But it was also an eye-opener for me. Because I was like, dang, I had this relationship.
We're going with the speed timer today, y'all.
He
Speed
gave me
timer.
the play. I chose to buy
Protect
something
now.
that I wanted
Love this watch.
and that I paid cash for. But now when I look at that truck, I'm like, man, you cost me $500,000. And I wonder how many of us
are thinking like that. Not too many people
What
are
if you
actually
can create
thinking
your
like that.
own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
have the opportunity to invest 50, but we put it into something else, and then we've missed out on money because we didn't seize the opportunity. And I think right now, we got to start seizing the opportunity, because we cannot afford to miss out on money for pleasure. Not in this season, not at the rate that our world is changing. And I think that the normal, we're going to see a new normal. I don't think we're ever going to go back to where we were before COVID. I don't think we're going to see those gas prices, those food prices, home prices, interest rates. Like, man, when I first met you, dude, my home in Columbia, Tennessee, my interest rate was 2.2. You know, I paid $213,000 for that home. And I was a 3,000 square foot brand new home in Columbia, Tennessee with 2. To this day, I'm upset that I sold that house. I'm like, what? Wait. I think the new norm is coming. And if the new norm is here and if it's coming, then we gotta get new money. And we gotta have new ways to where our money can make money. And that's what I'm really on right now, is really my health and how can I have my money working harder for me. And when my boy showed me he sent me a screenshot. I promise you, I sat back in my chair. I was in my office. I was sitting in my chair when I got the text. I stared at it for 5 minutes. I went
need
and
to get
laid
a
on
new
my
bracelet
couch
for
in my
speed
office
timer. This thing
and just
feels
thought
tight
about,
as fuck.
man, I missed out on a great opportunity.
And just
And
a
then
fat
I
ass
text
too.
you, and he was like, man, Lord, do it for us. And I literally said, nah, Lord, do it. But he can give us an opportunity, but if we don't position ourselves to seize the opportunity with the information that you provide, information that I provide, then the Lord can do it. But have we put ourselves in a position to seize that opportunity? And I think that's one thing I love about what you're doing on Investing Uncomplicated, the show. You're teaching us how to seize the opportunity with the resources that God has us at right now. Absolutely. And I
all right, enough of that.
He says, I'm shocked.
I love the financial stuff, but then when they start digging too deep into how religion is playing a part into it, man, I kind of just zone out. I ain't gonna flex to you. But love the content. Table AO at the table or something like that. I can't remember what the name of this shit is. Hold up, let me look again. The table with AO. Okay. The table with AO. That's a Dave Ramsey predecessor. Right there. Black dude. Make sure that y'all pay attention to him, man, because he actually has really good ideas. He's helped me out with a bunch with just his regular common public posts, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I follow that stuff a lot of times and it helps me out a shit ton. Let's get into this next one.
Wow.
Twitch.
He's shocked.
Dropped the
I'm
nuke.
shocked. I cannot believe Twitch is actually finally making bot busting a priority on the platform.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Botting on Twitch has been a problem since the beginning of time.
Okay.
And they hadn't taken it seriously forever.
Okay.
But a month ago, they made a statement where they claimed, listen, guys,
They're gonna do
condoms
something
finally
about it.
coming off. We're going in raw against bots. We're finally going to do something about
Absolutely.
it. And I was excited. Like, that's something to celebrate. But I kind of thought they were just looking to score some good boy points online, like some brownie points.
I did too, actually. I talked to people about that, and they were telling me, they're like, yeah, there's no way.
Because Twitch's reputation been kind of in the shitter recently. I thought this was just something that they were just doing for lip service. I wasn't entirely convinced they were going to go that hard on it until today.
Oh.
Wow. They have actually done a really good job here, like in this first wave, of getting bots off of Twitch.
Very important factor here, first wave.
Okay.
There are probably other people who
First
are botting
wave.
that they haven't been able to detect yet, and they will figure that out in time.
We're here in Atlanta on the Beltline at what will be our third close company location.
We're right in the middle of construction right now.
So this would explain why I'm at a one count,
Like
even though I
bringing
have
back
two
down
screens open.
these artificially boosted
Yes.
numbers to what they actually
Absolutely.
are. There's a
Sadly.
lot of examples to pull from.
Yes.
The data is all very
Sadly.
new, mind you, but I think the best example is from a channel called Mira. I'm sure some of you have at least heard of this because this is something that people have been trying to put on Twitch's plate for the longest time about a channel that keeps getting recommended to them that isn't actually even a live stream. For the last couple of years, it is just a farming channel where Mira is just farming ads off botted numbers. She doesn't actually even really stream on there. I think she's gone live like a few times over the last couple of years, but it's live 24/7, just pumping reruns of streams she did. So
This is Mitch Jones's girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend. I remember whenever Mitch moved out of his apartment with Tyler, Train invites us all over to move all of the stuff out to help him out. And so like me and Zach, I think Nick was there, and like everybody came over to like help Train move. And so he gave us all of Mitch's stuff. I have Mira's pillow over there. I still have it. I have Mitch's blanket too. He gave Zach Mitch's refrigerator. He gave me Mitch's mouse. And the thing is that, like, so Mitch Jones, so, like, he had this Razer mouse that he got Cataclysmic Gladiator with, and he wanted to start streaming WoW again, but I heard him talking on his stream that he didn't have his mouse. And it was his mouse that he always had. He didn't know what happened to it. And so I DM him. I text him. I'm like, bro, I have your mouse. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, you left it at the house whenever you moved. I'm like, you wanna meet up? I give it to you. And I gave him that mouse, and he actually started playing WoW after that. I remember I met him at Torchy's Tacos. This was like 3 years ago. Is this the cum wall dude, right? No, it was a door. The cum wall was supposedly Thor, but that's undetermined, but it was a door.
So long ago, like ancient history. So look at this. This channel for, I think, like probably 3 years. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but it's been years. Has been sitting at like a steady 2,000 viewers no matter the time of day. And all the channel has done for this time, pretty much exclusively, is run 24/7 reruns of old streams, yet somehow manages to maintain 2,000 viewers throughout the entire duration of it. Then, the day that Twitch bot smiting comes into effect, it goes from 2,000, then down to 1,500.
To be fair, actually, Charlie is... Charlie's wrong about this. Mira's bot detection kicked in before the last 3 days. It happened before that. We just looked it up a minute ago. So, yeah, no, like hers was, she pre-ordered the nerf. She got the pre-order.
And then the bot detection, I guess, must have kicked into fucking turbo drive. They went Wumbo style. And now she's sitting at 100 to 200. Pretty much overnight.
Jesus.
This, to me, is like the most clear example of them actually doing something about botting.
That's a
I
lot.
was very surprised.
90%? That's a big percent.
It is.
Her channel, which is live right now, by the way, because it's 24/7 reruns. This channel is constantly, or was constantly, recommended to anybody with a brand new account. Like, see how I'm not logged in or anything. I'm still on, like, light mode. This stream was recommended all the time, and somehow still had thousands of viewers on just reruns.
Wow.
Clearly, most, like, rational, sentient human beings aren't going to be watching that. Like, look at the chat.
That being said, my rerun channel is doing absolutely amazing. And most of the time at night, my rerun channel has 1,000 to 2,000 viewers. My rerun channel is in the top. Let's just, I just want to pull this up right now, okay? Just so I can self-glaze myself. I am rank 134 on the entire website. That's right.
Jesus.
My second channel. So just for comparison, right? If I scroll down and I look at this, there's me. I'm ahead of Senna. I'm ahead of Method. I'm ahead of Penta. I love Penta. I'm ahead of him. Ahead of Double Lift. Ahead of Jenny. That's right, Jenny. That's what you get. So yeah. Ahead of that. So yeah, my secondary channel's been doing really well. Ahead of Centrea. Yeah, she's a VTuber, right? I think. Yeah, on reruns. That's my rerun channel. So you guys thought this was gonna hurt my ego or something? I just invent a new. I would just invent a new ego point.
And this is exactly what it
Which
looked
won't
like.
matter because I'm actually the most humble streamer, so it doesn't make a difference.
Back then too, no movement. There's no chatting because it's not real. And now the bot detection is here, and you can see that it is finally working. Though I think there are still some bots.
I don't think that's true. Yeah, you're right. There's no way there's 250 people watching this. There's no shot. Like, I think it's even lower than this. Twitch hasn't gone far enough.
Like some holdovers here, because there's no way there's 250 people
That's
here
what
right
I
now.
said.
It seems to me like there's definitely still some stubborn bots that Twitch wasn't able to get. They're sticking on there like a hemorrhoid. The parasite bot infestation has been decimated but not destroyed, because I cannot imagine 276 people being in this stream right now. Not even as background noise in like a tab they forgot on like an ancient laptop. I don't even see that being the case. I don't think there's a single soul in this realm right now. This shit is more empty than a theater showing Morbius. Like, I just don't believe that. But even still, it's clear that what Twitch is doing is actually pretty effective at blasting bots, which I didn't expect.
Absolutely.
Her channel, I think, is the best example of it, but there's a lot of other channels, like big streamers that went live over the last day, where their view counts have halved, or even more than halved in some cases.
True.
So they actually are taking it kind of seriously. Like I said, I was a little skeptical that they were even going to really try and take down bots, because inflated viewer numbers is good for the platform, like I thought they probably wouldn't actually put a lot
Yeah,
of
because it's in their best interest for them to perceive and, like, you know, have people see growth on the website. Yeah, no, he's right about this.
Sources to it, but it seems I was very wrong. Now, another thing worth mentioning, this scam of like running reruns with bots is not exclusive to just her channel, but you have to wonder how much money she made off of that. This went on for years. And I'm so curious how much money she made just running old streams 24/7 reruns with botted view counts up to 2,000 to 3,000. That's probably a pretty substantial chunk of change. It's got a lot of people talking, and I think...
no, of course, right? Obviously, absolutely, 100%. W free money method? Yeah, she probably made a lot.
This is a really great thing from Twitch, to be honest.
That's a fact.
XQC made a tweet talking about it, saying Twitch cracked down on bots in 2 to 3 days, and view botters / victims of view botting have been exposed. Streamers that are part of groups / orgs are seemingly being botted much more heavily.
Yes.
Don't want to start a witch hunt, but the data is interesting. Go see for yourself.
I did that.
And then links Twitch tracker, which you can see for yourself. And people are scrubbing through with a fine-tooth comb, taking a peek at these big drops in viewer numbers. And right now, the findings are still pretty early because this has only been in effect for like...
You only have 3 days, 2 days. There's not enough data points to really draw a consensus, you know, for like where things are going or where they are. But he's right.
Want to turn hair loss into hair gains? With Hims, discover a range of prescription treatments in a variety of convenient forms, like the quick-drying 4-in-1 spray. Products are formulated with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil.
Maybe 3 days now. So it's still like very fresh data. This shit's straight out of the oven. But people are noticing that some of the biggest channels being hit were affiliated with orgs. So like XQC mentions, like some org-affiliated channels were, in a lot of cases, the recipients of some artificially boosted numbers, as evident by a huge drop in viewer numbers.
Oh, Charlie, you're such a pussy. Just say the names. Just say who it is. Just say it. Just say the number went down. That doesn't mean that they did it. Just say the number. Like, why is he... Just do it. Is this the reason why people like him and hate me? It's because I'm the one that's the asshole?
Over the last couple days, out of nowhere. Namely, OTK seems
what
to be
the fuck? Why would he say me? I hate this
Mainly
guy.
OTK. I mean...
Oh my god. What a fucking asshole, bro. Like, you gonna call me out like that on the video? What a dick.
Big one. People are seeing a huge drop across the board for most of the channels that have gone live over the last couple days.
This is
that
bullshit,
are with the group.
man.
Another channel people have been paying very close attention to is Asmongold's. He's one of the biggest...
I love how he was accurate in not categorizing me with OTK. Good one.
Streamers in the world, and he went live.
I want to hear this again.
Attention to is Asmongold's. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world. And he went live. Very close attention to is Asmongold's. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world.
Oh, man. I know. I know. Yeah.
And he went live the last couple days since the bot fisting has come out from Twitch. And they noticed that his average...
And I have indeed been fisted. With no lube.
You've been what? With who?
Viewers for both streams had been about 20,000 less than normal. About
Can you believe that Charlie would call me out like this? This is fucked up, man.
20,000 people were banished to the Shadow Realm here.
Up.
And Asmongold even commented on it, believing that his account was probably botted. He believes with 95% certainty.
Oh, so he's using the source of me being botted as me? Oh, well. Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I did. It's true.
His channel was botted.
Yes.
And he agrees that removing these bot numbers and this fake phony baloney viewership...
This is what I said. I said removing bots and artificial viewership is better for everyone on the platform. I suspect it's a work in progress, so Twitch is A/B testing for the solutions. You can cross-reference larger data websites to see the overall impact. Yes. Obviously, I was right.
From the platform is good for everybody there.
Yes.
And that seems to be the prevailing sentiment, that everyone agrees that getting rid of artificial...
Well, not everybody. There's a lot of people that haven't been talking about this at all. Now, I'm not going to name names. but there's a lot of people that haven't said anything about this. Find it to be interesting. 30K now. No, the thing is that, listen, viewership, everything like this, this is the way I've looked at it. When I had 100K viewers, I said, okay. When I had 10K viewers playing the Honkai Star Rail story at 3 o'clock in the morning, losing a story fight with pay-to-win characters, I said, okay. That's just the way it is. That was peak? Yeah. I said, oh, yeah. I had a C6 Acheron, and I lost. Anyway. So, yeah. And I was talking nothing. It's 40K. No, the thing is, like, listen, like, I get my ego from things that, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't really think about it a lot, man. Like, is that weird for me to say? Like, I just don't really...
From Twitch.
I don't really worry about it a lot. I don't get upset. I don't get angry. You know, like, it is what it is, right? I mean, like, fuck. Yeah, how far back do you think it goes? Because your Necromancer attempts had like 20K, no? Well, I didn't do Necromancer attempts on alt stream. I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Like, to me, it's just like anybody that ties their... Like, Twitch has like a massive brain rot problem of people that are constantly fixated around viewer count. And I'm going to be honest, I was a victim of this. And even now, like, I'll admit, it's demoralizing to see that a lot of your popularity was artificial, or at least it seemed to be. It sucks. It does. It sucks. But you know what else sucks? A lot of things. And you know what you do? You suck it up. Too bad. Try harder. Work harder. Oh, no. Yeah, that's the way it is. Like, that's life. I remember I was complaining to my dad about this, and he's like, what are you you did fine today. Like, what do you mean? Like, he's like, yeah, I remember back whenever my dad left and I had to hunt squirrels for the family to survive. But yeah, I'm sure you going down to 30,000 viewers is very upsetting for you. Just literally did not give a fuck. And so anyway, yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, squirrels? No, he did. And anyway, finish stream with some memes. No. Let me finish this, okay? But yeah, so a lot of streamers get like really emotionally affected by this, and I've been a victim of this myself. And it's one of the reasons why I moved to my second channel is that like I had a lot of like mental blocks with my main channel, and I was like, this is just so much pressure, so much stress. I don't want to deal with this anymore, and I have to move on and do something different. And so I did. And so like to me, like, and also, like, I remember I went live on my main channel. I had 100K viewers, and I got, like, 40 DMs from people that wanted to collab with me, and then I never went online again. Stressed me out. Yeah, it just stressed me out. Didn't want to deal with it. Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Your second channel became the main channel. What was the point? Great question. Really great question. I wish I knew. Do you think that anyone will self-delete because of the drop in viewer count? I don't know. I mean, obviously, you know, people care a lot about it, and there is, like, in the Twitch social circles, there is definitely a degree of, you know, social value that people have because they're popular. I think this is absolutely true. But, you know, from my perspective, it's not really something that I would be too focused on or too upset or fixated about. You know, I just go and do what I want to do, and that's what matters. And so it's not that serious. Yeah, exactly. And I mentioned the account was chilling, though. Webcam games? Well, hey, I mean, they keep killing those view bots. I might as well just go play Honkai Star Rail with no camera again, right? I mean, damn. Yeah, collabing's cringe. I don't think collabing's cringe. There's a lot of guys I'd want to collab with, right? But, like, you know, in general, I think that some of them are. But anyway, well, I'm getting off topic. I apologize. Twitch viewership is like I know a lot of streamers. There is nothing that stresses streamers out more than viewership. It does. So there have been a lot of people that have messaged me and talked to me about it, saying how nervous they are and how stressed out they are about it. It's an extremely common thing, and it's been going on with a lot of people. And it's actually kind of surprising to see what a big viewer count. Yeah, about viewer count, absolutely. It's been huge. And so, yeah, isn't it better to look at sub count anyway? No. My sub count, you want to see how many subscribers I have? I have 6,000 subscribers. I have 6,000. The reason why is every time somebody subscribes, I remind them that they wasted their money. Let's finish this.
The prevailing sentiment that everyone agrees that getting rid of artificial viewership from Twitch is a net positive to the entire platform.
It is.
The only people that'll have an issue with these fake numbers being blasted is going to be the people that are exploiting them. The people that are using the bot services are the only ones that are going to be outraged about it. Now, I also imagine the cope from a lot of people that are going to get caught red-handed with bots is going to be, it wasn't me. I must have been the victim of a malicious bot villain, a supervillain twirling his evil cartoonish mustache. Must have been botting me for all this time. I had no idea. And in some cases, like, that is a real thing. There are cases where some people will bot a channel just because they think it's going to get them in trouble. But that doesn't happen. Like, Twitch, for the longest time, has not taken this botting problem seriously. So that whole
that's the reason why a lot of people, I think, were doing it. Absolutely. I mean, for me personally, I never did it. I didn't do it. I mean, I feel like I don't really need to prove it. Somebody wants to think I did it, go ahead. I did a bunch of other bad stuff. That's just not one of them.
Idea of like a bad actor botting a channel to try and get punishment put upon a streamer they don't like, it's not that common. It happens, sure, but it's not that common because everybody knows Twitch hasn't done anything about botters for so long. So how the fuck could that possibly still be a strategy that someone that doesn't like you would use? That's like you and your buddy going to the public pool and you eat pizza together and then your friend tries to tell the lifeguard that you didn't wait 30 minutes before getting in the pool. It's like, okay, who gives a fuck?
Nobody
cares. That's the whole way Twitch has treated botting for the longest time.
Yeah, true.
Until now. I think that's going to be like the crutch a lot of people will claim. Like,
but did you know your org did it for you or other mates in your org? My org did not do any botting to the best of my knowledge, and nobody that I know is a botter that I am certain of that did it to themselves. I got a lot of subs. No, I didn't. I only got like 50. That's not enough. What am I supposed to? Am I supposed to be thankful? I only got 50 subs. Come on, guys.
I should give it a little more, just in case.
I wasn't botting. I didn't sign off on anyone botting me. This must have been some stranger in the back alleys trying to hurt my reputation by botting me for all this time. And some people,
guys,
I'm sure,
stop. If you no, you do not need to stop.
Be telling the truth, but it's going to be hard to know for sure.
I don't even have emotes.
But one thing that I think everyone will know for sure is that this is a really good thing for Twitch. I am so glad they're actually taking this seriously and actually wiping out such huge amounts of bots.
Get rid of the
I'm hoping they are still going to continue doing this because there's still work to be done.
I just want to know why my numbers are getting
affected. Going to do their best to circumvent this so that way their clients
This is an infinite cat and mouse game, and botting services will get around the current Twitch system, and then Twitch will have to acclimate to the new botting services, and it's going to go back and forth. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, like, whether people like it or not, that's pretty much where things are going.
Why
it's annoying, but there it is.
Getting put
continue
through this
to
stuff.
pay them money
It's a never-ending
for this
battle.
service.
Yeah,
they're not just going to roll over and die. They're not going to go.
They're not going to say, "Oh, I guess I'm going to stop making money now."
Up and just admit defeat. This is always a tug of war. They are going to come up with new ways of trying to evade Twitch's detection, and I'm hoping this isn't just like a one-time thing where Twitch blew their whole load here on this bot blast. I'm hoping they will continue to allocate resources to fighting against the upcoming bots that are going to be, no doubt, surfacing soon. But either way, this is a great step in the right direction, and I hope it continues. Just wanted to yap about it a bit. That's it. So, yeah.
Definitely a good decision. Absolutely, 100%. Doesn't matter who it affects. It's a good call. people with fake viewership, people that are trying to push themselves out as being more popular or anything like that. It doesn't help anybody. It hurts advertisers, and it is a depressive force on the entire platform. So yeah, that's the way that I feel about it. And that can get in trouble with sponsors. No, I mean, sure, right? I mean, absolutely, it would be a negative. I mean, like it's not good at all. I mean, that's why, again, I've tried to move over to just doing YouTube videos, because I thought this problem was going to go on for a while. And so that's pretty much where we're at.
I mean, I see what y'all talking about,
Eventually,
but at the same time, I don't
she
see
got
what y'all
herself
talking
caught
about.
because
what?
No comment. She became an influencer, had all these fans, started following Ice around, and eventually Ice turned around and grabbed her.
The lovely young lady that I have before you right here on IG, she goes by Martinez Tatiana. Let's see a couple of photos of her real quick, just so you can understand who it is that we are dealing with here. Nevertheless, this lovely young lady who has created herself to be an influencer within America also happens to be an illegal immigrant. And she got a taste of effing around and finding out. She was just recently dragged, kicking and screaming out in LA from her Tesla after doxing ICE agents, after flaunting criminal conviction, as well as flaunting the benefits that she receives from the government. Now, regardless of the political spectrum that you currently sit on, this is definitely a piece of content that needs further dissection. You'll take a look at the Instagram account that she has. You'll see 50,000 followers, but because of her coverage as what she views as injustices within the United States, she was getting hundreds of thousands of views, but inevitably was utilized by Department of Homeland Security to find her. You play stupid games, you're gonna win dumbass prizes. She already knew the risk within this. She already knew that she was breaking the law. Knowing that your actions can land her in real trouble, you would think that she would lay low considering the circumstance, but she gambled for attention as well as validation, status as well as clout, likes as well as filling up her comment sections instead of seeking peace, stability, or accountability while posting her cheeks online. Let's get active on this one, but to the official news report, I bring you.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can guest how you guest.
Nate the lawyer.
So we got another TikTok influencer who was arrested on a live stream because she was an illegal alien? This is Tatiana Martinez. She's a TikToker. Now, Tatiana is a Colombian national. She came to the United States in 2022, but since that was under the Biden administration, they released her and let her stay in the country illegally. Now, during her time here in the United States, ICE officials claim that Tatiana was convicted of driving under the influence in Los Angeles. This conviction makes her a criminal illegal alien, and that obviously fast tracks you to being deported. Now, Tatiana's life in the United States led her to become an influencer on TikTok. Now here's Tatiana's oldest video on TikTok, and ironically she is sitting in a Tesla, which is going to be important later, so remember this Tesla. Now with her phone and her TikTok channel, she became kind of like a reporter on the street, documenting random crimes or police interactions that she saw. Here's a TikTok she uploaded of some random black guy getting arrested.
Again, irrespective of the political spectrum that we are on, we can all agree that if you've already jumped the line and came here illegally, the last thing that you should be doing is breaking more laws. You should be keeping your head down and laying low, baby. I know people that went through the process the legal way, and it took them years. And because they worked for it, they valued it a lot more. They know how much that they stand to lose if they mess around. And that's the difference between someone who appreciates the opportunity versus someone who's taking it for granted. Let's go.
Atraparon a uno de los sospechosos. Aquí acaban de atrapar a uno de los sospechosos, güey. Acaban de atrapar a uno de los sospechosos de los que andaban siguiendo acá. La persecución que había.
And here's just another random accident that occurred in Los Angeles, and she's documenting it for her followers. Now with the camera and an audience, she began doing more.
All right, let me put
she's
my
an
work
illegal
clothes
alien, and Donald Trump gets in the office. So she's like, I don't like this whole deport everybody thing. So she starts following ICE agents and documenting their arrest. Now I know what you're thinking. She's here illegally. She should be laying low, doing her thing, trying to stay off the radar. But no, as you'll see in this next video, she's got the camera up in ICE's face while they're arresting farm workers.
Estamos en Camarillo, acá en California. ¡Ay, ay, ay, ay! ¡Dale a la verga, puto! ¿Llegan a traer la de gas? What are we doing? Over there halfway. Véngase, jefe, a ver qué comen mañana. We have disabled people coming out here también. If you a tear gas, you're a A esta hora la comunidad está muy conmocionada por todo lo que está pasando.
Now, Tatiana took it to another level because she then started posting things like this, where you can clearly see agents getting ready for some type of operation. And she's obviously giving people a heads up that this operation is about to go down.
Yo, this is crazy. Now, either she's got some big damn cojones tucked up under there somewhere up underneath her dress, or she's stupid and just wants attention. She just wants views by any means necessary. I'm gonna go with the latter because the majority of illegal immigrants who want to stay here are not doing this.
Con maletas y miren cómo van de cargados de maletas. Miren cómo van de cargados de maletas. ¿Ustedes creen que ya se van?
So we have an illegal migrant who was convicted of a crime, who is in the country illegally, and now is documenting ICE operations and giving people a heads up about where ICE is coming. And let's just be honest, it is a little embarrassing to ICE to have an illegal immigrant filming other illegal immigrants get deported and making all this money off the video. So what did ICE do? Well, they clicked the follow button and started following Tatiana.
They're called Supernova
on
Ones.
TikTok. And the brilliant Tatiana would actually live stream where she was at, what she was doing. Come find me because I'm here in Los Angeles following ICE. So Tatiana decided to live stream on Friday, August 15th, 2025. Now, Tatiana's in her Tesla and she's near downtown Los Angeles. Now, obviously she's doing her report where ICE is, on doing her live streams. And remember, ICE is now watching her follow ICE. Now, as she's following around ICE, ICE then springs the trap and Tatiana is cornered.
Espérate, no, güey. No, espérate. Espérate, me voy a dejar, pero 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 espérate.
Now, police pull Tatiana out of the car, and then some crazy stuff happens, like a random tow truck starts towing away the agent's car. You'll see it.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Fuck you!
That's actually wild.
Yeah, that's crazy as fuck.
And tow truck drivers don't play, baby. This a whole SNL skit.
You're a victim.
So yeah, the law enforcement officers' cars were towed away by some rando. And when the Department of Homeland Security finds that person, charges are obviously going to be brought. But as of right now, you can say goodbye to Tatiana. She had a great run here in the United States for the past, 3 years? But eventually, she got herself caught because...
What?
God damn!
No comment.
she became an influencer, had all these fans, started following Ice around, and eventually Ice turned around and grabbed her.
To get to the point here, and I guess there's a full circle event of F around and find out. She was chasing the clout. She was chasing the fame, and she prioritized the likes, the attention, the validation that she was receiving over keeping safe. She thought that slapping the title of influencer on her made her, by some stretch of the imagination, immune to the very people that she was documenting for those views. This is instant regret as well as a direct reality check.
Now, for those who are longtime viewers of the channel, I know what you're thinking. You're like, this is the second one, Nate, right? The first one, his name was Lionel Moreno. Remember that guy?
Una casa en United States. In his most recent controversial TikTok video, Moreno is telling his followers to avoid living on the streets in the United States. They can, quote, invade empty homes and live there, saying under U.S. law, if a house is uninhabited, it can be seized, referring to squatting rights in our country.
Then he was saying that Americans were stupid, and if you were smart like him, you'd be making money, but we're stupid for taking care of him and his family.
A Venezuelan migrant bragged about living off of U.S. taxpayer money.
Confieso que a mí no me gusta trabajar porque
I don't like to work because it gives me allergies.
De los taxes que usted paga al mes.
Lionel Moreno uploaded multiple TikToks encouraging more of his fellow Latinos to come to the U.S.
Y es totalmente falso que las fronteras están cerradas. Las fronteras están abiertas. Capichi, para todas esas personas, muchachos.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Hey, we're How Ridiculous 3.
So yeah, eventually they caught up to him and deported him back to Venezuela.
Estoy en peligro de muerte en United States. Necesito protección.
The same thing.
I never understand. If you are here illegally, that means somebody's looking to send you back somewhere.
Right.
So why would you go on TikTok and tell them where you're at? And then go follow the cops who are looking for you. Eventually, they're going to find you. Why? Because you're right next to them.
Let me tell you exactly why, Nate the lawyer. I'm so glad that you asked. It's because attention is their currency. Or rather, it is their drug of choice. But when the clicks and the clout matter more than doing what's right, living a life through legacy, through discipline, through integrity, or even coming into the country the correct way, you will continue to see crash outs like this. And the truth is that it's not just about her, right? This picture right here should be put in a damn dictionary to be a symbolic picture of a culture that prioritizes doing it for the gram, or rules don't apply to them as long as the camera is rolling, as long as them comments are coming through. Chase all the cyberspace validation that you want to, baby. At the end of the day, when you come back into reality, you're going to realize that reality is undefeated. All right, guys, let me know what you think about the content. Leave me something down in the comment box down below. Also, Nate the Lawyer's channel. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to link the video. Guys, go up under there. That brother has so much great content.
Straight up.
Go over there. Look at all of his, content.
Last video, y'all. I appreciate y'all for showing up,
Last but not
man.
least, I will see you guys soon. Let's take a look at this picture one more time for the one time. Damn! I shouldn't be laughing. Until next time, you two.
My God.
Peace.
She belongs to the street.
All right, y'all. That's all we got for today, man. We didn't get too many people to come up in here, man, but I don't know. People could have came in here, but we wouldn't have never known because Twitch got the viewer count all fucked up. We'll see what's going on, man. We'll see what kind of emails I get or anything like that pertaining to that situation. But, hey, man, I'm not expecting anything different, man. Look, we're a small stream here, man. And whoever comes in, I appreciate you for coming in. Whoever didn't come in, man, you know what? You're going to come in. You're going to come in next time. It's all good. I don't see no problem with none of this stuff. What I do have a problem with is that I have a tab open where I'm watching myself and it's not getting counted. Hate that. But it's part of the game, man. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, man, I wish everybody has a good, great, beautiful day. Be easy, be blessed, be safe. And if you make some money when I'm not around, make sure y'all bring the receipt so I know you ballin'. That's all I got for y'all today, man. Be easy. Peace.